What's up, everyone? Hopefully you're having a great start to your week so far. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the menu and what it meant to us. We'll be talking a lot about just a lot of different things. The movie's pretty deep. I think there's a lot of stuff to discuss and break down tonight, and I have a great panel to do so. So with that being said, let me go ahead and introduce actually somebody that's on, two people that are on my channel for the first time. I'm going to actually go ahead and bring her in first. We've got Nerdy Film Girl. Tracy, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. First time on my channel. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us.
Yeah, I'm just honored as always when anyone invites me on one of these things, especially I've watched so many of your streams, so it's really wonderful to be a part of this one. I'm really excited. So thank you very much for having me on.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you for being here. Another first-time guest is going to be Caprice. You were just on a stream recently for your first time last week with KB. How's it going?
It's going good, Bob. I'm so happy to be here and be talking about the menu with everybody. As you know, this is probably one of my favorite movies from last year, so I'm excited to finally talk to some people about it.
Awesome stuff. I am looking forward to it as well, and everybody's links are in the description down below. All right, for the rest of Mizzy's Misfits or Cody and the Creamers here, we have got part of the crew here. We've got Fish, the film collector. What's going on, Fish?
Not much. How are we doing, guys?
Good.
Oh, thanks for having me, Bob. Oh, yeah, this movie was fantastic. I really enjoyed it from the very first shot to the very last shot. It was amazing from start to finish. So I'm really excited to be talking about it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And Gus coming in next. We've got, what's going on, man? You're the food guy here, so I'm really looking forward to having you on here. Somebody works at a restaurant, somebody in a service industry, so we got all different kind of paths colliding here. Gus, what's going on?
Thank you for having me, Bob. I went into this movie thinking it was a food movie, and it kind of I guess twisted what I was expecting to see. I enjoyed it though.
Yeah, absolutely. And some would say I saved the best for last here. We've got Mizzy coming in, the final guest here tonight. Thank you for being here, Mizzy.
Thank you for having me. What's up, everybody?
What's going on? So yeah, let's go ahead, dive into the chat, and then we'll kind of start to discuss the movie. I've got some talking points, some topics I wanted to keep us somewhat on topic tonight. But as anybody knows, anytime you're on my channel, it can go off the rails very quickly. But I'll try to keep us on topic. And like I said, some talking points, a lot of questions to go over. If you want to jump in and talk or have any questions of your own, go ahead at any point. It's pretty much just free discussion here. So we got Adrian James saying, hey there, Bob. Appreciate you being here. Excuse me. Nick saying, what's up, everyone? Heading to bed because you got the trucker life. Johnny's watching is here. Holland Oates. Hello to the lovely panel. We got Tiana in the house. Always nice having Tiana here. Just everybody kind of saying hi back and forth. We got Emmett saying, so you only want me to do 2 questions. You could ask as many questions as you want tonight. Tony's movies and more. We got Gus saying, oh my gosh, it's going to start soon. And the movie Hunter just finished the movie. I feel like a cheeseburger for dinner. He did just finish it. Tony saying hi to everyone. Vinicio, the horror cholo, thank you for being here. Jerry's in the house. What's up, everyone? Vinicio saying yes, Tracy. What's Johnny watching? Everybody saying hi back and forth. We got Johnny saying Caprice. Tiana saying Caprice. Vinicio, a lot of Tracy here. Fish. Everybody just kind of acknowledging the panel here. Let me go ahead and get through it. We got Terrell saying Caprice. Everybody loves Caprice. Holland Oates says The Miz. Mizzy, hey everyone. Hey Terrell. And we got Dave Durant in the house. Hey y'all.
Oh, Dave.
These movies and more. And we've got Cody from Duke Movies. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. What's up, everyone? Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. Haven't seen the menu yet, so I just wanted to drop in real quick. Appreciate that. Definitely check out the movie because there will be spoilers tonight. But Cody, before you leave, hopefully you didn't leave yet. I'll play a little.
Yay, orgies!
So Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I tried to mix it up with Tim here. We got Planet Mondo. What's up, Bob's Blu-rays and everyone? Thank you for being here. We got the original Fuzz stopping by. Hey, everyone. And I think I'm pretty much all caught up. Laren is in the house. Hey, everyone. We meet again, Laren. So it's not a live stream without Caprice. Laren. Yep. And Tim's here. I just popped in here to see you say yay orgies. Yep. So thank you everyone for being here in the chat. Thank you for the panel for stopping in and being able to support me and talk about it with us. So I'm really looking forward to it. But let's go ahead. We got one more super chat before I get us started. As a restaurant worker, I'm very interested to hear everyone's thoughts on the movie. For me, it hit pretty close to home. Sub to everyone on the panel. Absolutely. Links should be in the description down below. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll give you another little super chat here.
And I like titties.
Everything's Tim Talks Talkies or Tim Talks Titties. So he's just super chat material. I'm sure all of you would agree. All right. So first question, I'll get us started off with here. If I could. All right. What did you think of the characters and character development and just pretty much all of the characters from the chef to Margot to everybody? Tracy, I'll let you go ahead and get us kicked off with that question.
I really enjoyed what they did with the Anya Taylor-Joy character as well as the Ralph Fiennes character. I think the other characters, and the Hung Cho, that was a fantastic choice with that. I think it's kind of purposely well done, the fact that the guests at the restaurant are kind of just shallow human beings of like character development, because for so many reasons the only reason they're there is to be seen, and that's kind of, I think it worked well, as well as the fact that coming from me, like I a lot of times I serve lots of people in a day, and I try to make connections and have conversations, but you only get glimpses of people's lives so quickly. So if anyone ever critiqued that the character development for these characters was like, paper thin or anything like that, I think it was definitely a specific choice, and I think it worked really well.
Yeah, I agree. And I do love Anya Taylor-Joy in this one. I thought she was great. Did I hear it correctly that Emma Stone was originally cast for it, or she was going to be?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Alexander Payne was going to direct as well, and that didn't happen.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. It's crazy what goes behind the scenes and what you don't know was going into it originally. So always fun. Caprice, what do you got for the character development and the characters?
So for me, like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite movies from last year. So as far as characters go, I love the air of mystery that you get. You don't know anything about these characters going in, and you slowly learn about them going on, and why he chose the people that he chose to be there. I can't say enough about, to be completely honest, I didn't like Anya Taylor-Joy that much before this movie. This movie kind of won me over on her side, and I think she did amazing in it. I thought she was beautifully done. I love Nicholas Hoult. I love Nicholas Hoult, but I didn't like his character in this movie. He really made you not like him as it slowly went on. Mm-hmm. And I just loved how ultimately everything kind of went down. I love the character building, the character mystery going in, and just kind of finding out about each one as each course progressed. So I loved how they set it up. It wasn't like just going into next scenes. It was set up in chapters or courses. And so I really appreciated how it went that way instead of just kind of going in as a movie.
Absolutely. Let's go to Mizzy here.
Yeah, I thought the characters were great. Ralph Fiennes was awesome. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I thought she did a great job. And Nicholas Hoult, usually I like him, but this character, you hate him pretty much. Yeah. But I always like the side characters, like John Leguizamo and the three, I won't say douchebags. I don't know if they're like Wall Street guys or they were like funneling money and I just thought even what's her name again? Hong Choi, the Asian woman. She did an awesome job, and you're the one who pointed out that she was in the whale too, and I didn't put that together for some reason.
Mhm.
But I thought she did a great job. Yeah, it's very character driven, and which I appreciate. Because going in, when I saw the trailers, I thought it was, I don't know if they're like, oh, they're eating people, or I thought it was like a horror movie. Didn't really until I saw it, so I was like, wow.
I did too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what kind of movie it was. So
the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, so which is a surprise, and I left very intrigued, and I was like, I got to see that again. And I had to see it a few times just to catch up on things.
I'll be honest, Hung Cho, she
Yeah,
stole my heart between this and The Whale. I'm kind of obsessed with her now.
Yeah, I know. I want to like go find every movie she's in and like watch it.
Adore her. She was so good in both of these. Just such a great actress. Gus, what you got for us?
I agree with what everybody has said so far. The other thing that I liked was the cooks in the kitchen. I don't think any of them broke character. When you looked in the background, they were all cooking, doing their thing, and they weren't cooking. They were being crazy as a chef. I think Ralph Fiennes played it amazing. He was well casted. I think everybody was well casted in this movie. I don't think anybody felt like, what is this person doing in this movie? They all were pretty good. You got into the atmosphere of the movie. You either liked the character or hated the character, and the development was pretty good. I feel like when they got into trying to find out who Anya was about, it was pretty hard, at least for me, to see where this movie was going with her, and until she started spilling the beans. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. How about you, Fish?
Well, when I first saw the trailer as well, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be, it seemed like Hunger Games meets Top Chef is what it felt like during the trailer. I was like, oh, they're going to be hunting each other down. And because they have that, that one scene where they take everybody outside. But anyways, the characters were fantastic. Like we talked about the sous chefs and the chefs in the back, how focused they were, and everybody else, like Caprice was talking about, the mystery. You didn't know who was coming to join and have dinner, and just thought that was really cool how it developed each course. Gave a little bit hint of what was coming next. It was, man, Ray Fiennes was fantastic, just very cold and very just focused and straightforward. And, Hung Chao, like everyone else, she was fantastic. I don't think I'd ever seen her in anything else besides this, and I saw her in The Whale this year as well. Fantastic actress, love her. Anya Taylor-Joy is wonderful. Got to know her a little bit more in this movie. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult, I've always loved. He's been great. Yeah, just fantastic cast, side characters as well. Everybody was talking about that. So yeah, I just enjoyed this very much. The fact that the chefs were so willing to, put it all out there, lay it all on the line at the end, and how the character development of each of the groups led to them, basically saying, okay, yeah, yes, chef, we love you, chef, yeah. So I love that they come to the fact that, yeah, we're here, yeah, this is how it's gonna go.
All right. For me, I really enjoyed. I didn't know too much about Ray Fiennes before this one, but I really liked him in this. Loved him in this. He was great, just so good. Anya Taylor-Joy was great. I absolutely love a ton of her scenes in this. Nicholas Hoult plays such an asshole so well, and And then don't even get me started on my love for Hong Chow. I actually want to segue into the next question I have for you. What did you think when she says, do not eat, or no, he says, do not eat, taste? What did you guys think of, guys and gals think of that? And then I'll get into the chat after that really quick. If you have, just speak out. I'll let, just if you guys have something to say about it, go ahead.
When he said, do not eat, taste.
Yeah, the chef said in the beginning, do you remember before
Taste,
they said,
savor, enjoy.
Yeah, do not eat.
Yeah, do not eat. Yeah.
So sometimes, like, I think when we eat, we don't appreciate or we don't take the time to enjoy what we're eating. And obviously, he prepared all those courses, and you're meant to enjoy and take your time, I think, and really savor the flavors. And that's what I kind of think. But.
And Gus, I know you're a cook, and obviously, Fish, you work at a restaurant. Tracy, you work at a restaurant as well. So I'm sure you guys have something to say about this as well.
Well, for me, after watching the movie and just knowing what I know now, I got that the food what signified the world. I guess you could say that when he said don't eat but taste, sometimes I guess we are so caught up in our lives that we don't really stop to savor our lives or what we're doing. Sometimes we just do it mechanically. So I think we know the chef knows everybody except the Anya Taylor-Joy character. Mm-hmm. So he knows that most of the characters are into their own world.
Right.
So, as the plates come out and they start understanding what this whole menu is about, kind of like stop and enjoy and what's coming. I guess.
Tracy?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened to my mic, but I apologize. Yeah, I think especially when someone else has made that meal for you, we can all make food for ourselves, and if we kind of grab a quick bite or whatever, that's one thing. But there's usually so much love when you are cooking for someone else or for numerous guests. And sometimes I see people that come into the restaurant, and my restaurant is considered like a higher end, and someplace you would actually want to take your time and enjoy and savor and things like that. And I've seen people like in and out like real fast. I'm like, this isn't Burger King, So
Yeah. I fish your Caprice.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I was going to make that point exactly. I work a lot of lunches, but I used to work a lot of dinners at this restaurant that I work at now. And I used to, people would come in and they'd be like, I'm in a hurry. So, there's Taco Bell down the street. You come in here to sit down and enjoy the atmosphere and the food and the service and, be taken care of, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do for you, is to take care of you, make this meal enjoyable, take your cares away, just sit there and enjoy. And a lot of people are there just like in and out, like you said, this is not fast food, it's not drive-through, if you want that, that's down the road. But yeah, that kind of hit with me, the whole service aspect of it, the whole presentation and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Both of my parents are chefs. My grandfather, my grandmother were also chefs too. So when he said that, for me, it really was him saying, be in this moment because this is your last moment. Like, this is the last thing that you're gonna have. So you better enjoy it because I prepared it for you to be your perfect last moment. And so I've watched my father do service before. I've watched my mother do service before. This movie is very kitchen accurate. And so when he's sitting there saying, don't eat, taste, he had just created an experience for everybody, whether they knew it was their last one or not. He wanted them to be in the moment. And I believe right after that line, he also says, we don't matter, none of this matters. And so it kind of goes into the whole we start figuring out what's going on. But for me, when he said that, it, you know, seeing it from a chef's perspective, having seen my parents do it my whole life, it really was him saying, please just, that's why he didn't want them to take photographs. He was just like, please just be in this moment, in the now, and enjoy this for what it is. Don't make it about other things, public opinion. Have it be you and what I created for you.
Yeah, I think what Caprice said about the picture taking, there's a book called, I believe it's like Life with a capital L, and it's probably one of my favorite books. And at one point in the book, he talks about like how so many people live their life through a camera lens, and obviously want to capture moments and stuff like that. But sometimes I find myself, I'll be somewhere like a concert or whatever it is, somewhere special in special moments, and sometimes I'm living that because I want to capture it, but sometimes I'm missing that moment in the moment, you know, that. And I think that Do Not Eat Taste could fall in that line of, hey, so often we're just in a rush, or we're like, I could capture this moment with a picture, whatever it might be, and sometimes we miss that moment in the now, you know, like live in the present, don't worry about like, you know, the future and stuff like that, I guess. You know, be where your feet are, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So let me catch up on the chat here. If I do skip around, I apologize. I just want to be cognizant of my guest time tonight. I don't want to be here for 4 hours, obviously keep anybody that long. So we do have a lot to cover. But yes, we got Maxfield here. What up, everyone? Love seeing the wonderful Tracy up here. So Tracy and Caprice getting a ton of love tonight. We got Tim saying, howdy, y'all. Just finished Patch Adams in preparation for tomorrow's stream, which will be fun. Majority of people here will be on that. We got Laren saying, hey, Holland. Sean is in the house. Thank you for being here, Sean. We've got My Killer Podcast. Mel is here.
Oh.
I'm wondering if we get a Gus saying, no. Yeah, here we go. I got it covered. Don't worry. Right here. Boom.
Lots of ease.
We got Melly Mel. We meet again. Let's see here. Hey, girl. Just a lot of highs back and forth here. Holland. Okay, Tim says, since they'll obviously cover spoilers, I have to say sorry. I felt bad for John Leguizamo's character. His time was making it bad.
He hated his movie. Yeah,
I hated the movie. LA Jewel says this movie reminded me of my family reunions.
Oh, jeez.
I think Holt's performance was incredible here. Yeah. Film Addiction says, what's up, everybody? Sean says, hope you're having a good day, Tim. Yo, Adrian, movie, not pie. Leguizamo was a better choice for his role than Radcliffe would have been. I do agree with that. Planet Mondo saying The Menu, Men, and Pearl were top 3 of last year. Awesome. As far as horror, anyways. Yep. We got Tiana with the super chat. This movie will make you want a burger. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Tiana, so much for the super chat. I do greatly appreciate it. What kind of super chat do we got here?
Yay, titties!
Let's see. My Killer Podcast saying, probably I have been in those chat rooms, and yikes, Tim Talks Talkies. Code Breakers in the house. What's going on, Chris? We got Holland saying hi to Chris. Just a lot of people saying hi back and forth. Adam says, like the old couple that went 11 times but couldn't remember anything they've eaten, could have just went to McDonald's. Yeah, we're gonna sure. Yep. Sydney says, hey, Draculina Horror. I think this is my first time seeing her around, so thank you for being here. Laren says, I've never been to a restaurant with a dress code. Just throwing that out there. Adrian says, looking forward to the Robin Williams tribute stream tomorrow. And like I said, if I do skip around and skip anybody, I do apologize. It's not intentional.
With that being said about the old couple, you know, they at least would have remembered what they had at McDonald's. That's messed up.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a couple notes, and if you guys have some notes, go ahead, feel free to jump in. I wanted to talk about something in particular. It's not a topic or a question I have necessarily, but I have 3 pages of notes here, so I have a lot to go over. I know Gus brought some notes as well. I do take these streams very seriously. I absolutely love breaking down and dissecting movies. I've done it so often with Mizzy and Fish and Caprice, and sometimes for 6 or 7 hours at a time. So I absolutely love doing it. So I take notes. I take it very seriously. I love talking about what it means to you. So that's kind of where this idea came from with Tim. But something I took notes on, I said, constantly nitpicking everything you do, someone trying to act like they know more than you in your own career, undermining you as a professional, acting like they know more than you. So that was Nicholas Holt's character. That's what I took from it. And I'll share a brief story. As a personal trainer, it's happened several times at the gym where random people at the gym will interrupt my session with a client and they'll show that client a workout that I am working on them with, right? And sometimes my client like saw it once and he's like, I appreciate you not like making a scene or a big deal about it. I just waited until it's over. But I feel like that was something I took away from those moments where Nicholas Hoult is like constantly being like, oh, is this that? And like, and then he gets put on the spot later on and he's want to like jump in and be like, this is how you should do it. Or is this that? And they're like just undermining you or being a smartass. And it's like, if you're not in this industry or you're not the professional and you've never been there doing it, maybe just watch, enjoy, and keep your mouth shut, so to speak. I mean, no disrespect, obviously, but it is kind of undermining when people do that. I was curious on some of your opinions.
Yeah, I thought it was a metaphor for movie critics.
Yeah,
100%. Like people that have never even tried to make a film or write a screenplay, and then they're the ones that are, giving the Mario movie really horrible ratings. So, but yeah, that's what I thought. 100%.
I totally have that written down in my notes somewhere. Like, so many of us criticize movies constantly and rip it apart, but we've never, well, most of us, Cody has and a few others have, but most of us have never tried to make a movie. So it's one of those things I kind of was like, I was feeling a little convicted on that. I was like, yeah, sometimes it could be too critical. I think sometimes maybe there's just a way of saying, hey, great job, or like finding something to enjoy about the movie instead of ripping it a new one.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Did anybody else want to jump in on that?
Yeah, sure. So what I took out of the whole character and food critics is they were fakes. I feel like that they were trying to apparent or put a facade that they knew everything that they were talking about. And then I wrote that under pressure, they broke and the truth came out that they really didn't know anything at all. Also, one of the things that the food reviewer said is that she made her own yeast,
from apples.
From apples, yeah.
And then the friend was like, "Of course you do,
Yeah, he just agreed with everything she said.
Oh yeah, yes, man. Once again, just people like that, blindly following,
Yeah.
It just goes into like over criticized or overly. They think that if you make everything from scratch, then that makes you like a grandeur connoisseur, that you make your own yeast or whatever it is that you make from scratch.
Yeah. I can actually share a story where I was humbled once. So I had just finished going to school to be a personal trainer, studying the entire body, muscles, bones, all that stuff. And I had to go to physical therapy and I had to see a doctor for an injury I had. And I was like, you could talk to me in like medical terms. And I was like, if you want, because he was like trying to make it simple for me. Yeah. And I was like, I know a lot of these muscles. I studied it. And then he started doing it. And I was so overwhelmed and I had no idea what he was talking about. And so sometimes you're trying to be on that level, but they're not disrespecting you by simplifying it for you. They're just doing it out of respect. And I think that's what that doctor was doing. And he was like, okay, you want to try and act like you know what you're talking about. I'll show you. So it was kind of one of those things. And I was very quickly humbled. So I just love movies where you can take so much from them, and I think even the most simple of movies have something to say. And obviously some more than others, but some of them get really deep and you could discuss for 10 hours and still be breaking it down. And I think this was one of those movies. On the panel here. But if nobody else had anything, I was gonna ask. I kind of gonna jump around all over the place here. Let's see. yeah, because I got a lot of end questions here. Yeah, it's pretty much all about the ending, but we'll jump in all over the place. Gus, did you have any notes that you wanted to talk about really quick or anything like that before we kind of get into some spoilers and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, starting the movie, when they get to the island, what I noticed is a lot of nature. They grew their own ingredients, which is one of the I feel like one of the rules when you usually go to an upscale restaurant or you cook your own food. At least if you cook for somebody or you're into taking pride of what you make, you always want to cook with the best ingredients, because a hamburger made with high-end ingredients is going to taste better than what you would get at a McDonald's, let's say. So that was one of the things. The other thing is how beautiful the plates looked. I heard in one of the cooking shows that we not only eat with our mouth but with our eyes too.
Yeah. And
I enjoyed how the movie was mocking the Chef's Table show on Netflix, because usually those shows are over the top. Most of the chefs,
I like that show.
Yeah, I do too. But it goes into the ingredients, and they like talk and talk and talk, and you're like, this is BS, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of like a mockumentary of that show in a way.
Yeah, and you're so right about how everything now, especially, I think it's a commentary on farming in general and pesticides and stuff like that. And so now restaurants that are of a certain level, they do want to promote the fact that they do grow their own something, even herbs. Like I worked at a craft cocktail bar for a very long time, and they had a roof where they would have fresh basil and rosemary, things like that. And like, that was their whole thing. And people just, ate it up because they loved that,
Yeah. I got a little, Tim says, so where do you guys think the chef found a cult of people all willing to kill themselves for this cause in AOL chat room?
AOL chat. That's a good question.
We'll definitely discuss more later.
Well, what I think is because we actually got a glimpse of the girl that stated, "Oh, I came up with that idea of killing everybody."
Yeah,
and then she blamed the overly food critic, the woman, that she destroyed her career because of her, I guess, overly critic comments. So I think most of those people are probably in that same boat.
Okay. Yeah, because
you think the critic maybe
she does give a compliment to her, and she's like, "That would have meant the world to me a year ago before you said before you ruined my career or something like that."
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. But it's crazy that everybody went along with it. Why do you think that would be?
Maybe they saw that there was no way out of working yourself out of a bad review. Everybody would probably, if it was like publicized on a high-end magazine or a newspaper, so where everybody would read, that really messes up with your reputation.
Well, yeah. And then if you left, you're going to get another job. You're putting down that you worked at Hawthorne. You're putting that high-end place, but. Yeah, but it, with the scathing review, yeah. This will go down with the ship, right?
Yeah. We got a super chat from Film Addiction. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I'll take the burger, he says.
That burger looked good.
Yeah,
damn good.
I have seen her in the super chat.
Oh no.
In there. Let's see here. We got Tiana saying, "I work in food. It's annoying when the customer thinks they know more than you." Yeah, I feel like that happens often.
And like a lot of times, like we'll bend over backwards. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's okay.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, like a lot of times, like we'll bend over backwards for guests, like, and I really don't even, like, if there's a substitution or like they want, you know, something else, or they didn't even like something, I have no issue with that if they're just kind. And when they are kind, I'm honestly willing to, like, I'm much happier giving them better service. I do think though there are certain people that, let's say they didn't like their entree, and you'll go over and make sure everything's fine, and they're like, yeah, it's great, and at the end they want you to take it off the bill because they didn't like it. It's like, well, I checked with you earlier, you know, you said it was great, so you know,
wait most of it, and
right. Or
Yeah.
you know, I could have gotten you something else, right? Then, you know, like, you know.
Yeah, that happens all the time. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I do have. Oh, sorry, you go.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
No. You were on a roll. Mine's kind of tied. To
No, I was gonna say, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. You know, I grew up with that saying. You know, if you want something, speak up. Say, hey, this wasn't correct, or you know, I hardly ever send food back. I'm not a picky eater. You know, if they leave something in that I didn't want, I'll pick it out. I'm not allergic to anything either, so I'm really lucky in that aspect. So, like I said, I'm not a picky eater. So if I don't like something, the only thing I'll send back is usually a steak. And if it's over like medium, I won't eat anything over medium. I'm that picky. Rare or medium rare is what I like, preferably medium rare. But anyways, sorry, off subject there. But if it's not right, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna speak up. It's not right, you know. Please, you know. Yeah, but I am cordial about it. I'm not, oh my God, this is, what did you do? You know, I've always said, treat people how you want to be treated when you go out to eat. You know, when you're serving and when you're eating, treat your server how you want to be treated when you're serving someone. You know,
I've never understood why you're, you know, so to speak, bite the hand that feeds you. I mean, why you're, you know, shitting, you know, where you eat or whatever. Basically, I mean, you're, you know, it's treating your server, the person who's dealing and holding your food in the kitchen back there, with disrespect. What are you doing?
Right. You know, you don't mess with people who handle your food. That's what I have to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This could easily turn into a waiting stream.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'll go right into that.
Be careful with that. We got Adam in the chat saying, I managed a Subway back in the day. It was always an adventure every day with customers. Yep.
That's why I love what I do. That is one reason I love what I do. Different people, but you know, we do get regulars, and I do adore some of my regulars. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys,
the dark humor plus am a foodie too. Tee-hee-hee. Look at the menu, made me salivate. We got KB saying, sup party people, just jumping in and happy to see some of my favorites talking about a great movie.
KB.
Had a great weekend with the Rad Pack.
Yes.
We got Tiana saying, what's up, KB? Adam says, I wonder if all the staff were former employees of the restaurant she closed down with her.
That's what I was thinking. Did she like ruin all their careers or something? Or not ruin, I shouldn't say it like that, but gave them bad reviews? Or
I'm like, do you know who I am? Bring me the damn bread.
Oh,
Yeah,
no bread. There was no bread.
The thing you guys were saying earlier, the first quote that he says, what is it? Taste, not eat, or anyway, along those lines.
Yeah.
We actually at our place sometimes we'll just get people that want to be seen there, and they'll order a bunch of food, and it'll all come out, and they're taking a bunch of photos for Instagram, and then they won't even eat it, and they'll get it boxed up and they'll leave, and it's wild.
Wow.
that goes into the comment. Actually, I was going to say. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
No, I was just saying enjoy the food. You go ahead, Gus.
Oh, no, I was going to say when he sent out the sauce without the bread, you know, the three guys were like, well, we want bread. And they were super rude about it. And I can't remember what the chef said or the hostess, but it just made it seem like there were commoners, everybody that was in that restaurant.
You know who we are.
They were just there because like nerdy film girl just said they just wanted to be seen, or they had the money to afford it, but not because they really cared about the food that was being cooked there. It was just mostly because the chef was well known. It was prestigious to say that you were there.
Right.
So that's another thing that
their boss was partner in it, so he was, they had that in, we know the owner kind of thing. Oh my gosh, pet peeve.
Yeah.
I dislike people who
Entitlement.
throw that around. Do you know who we are? We know such and such, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. You know who I know? People like that. It's just They had a lot of stereotypes in this movie. You had the food critic, you had the poser foodie, Instagrammer, likes to watch shows but doesn't actually cook. You had the movie star and his assistant and all their issues, and then you have the older couple with issues, and then you have the three pricks, that's why, that's why they're kind of asses,
Oh, yeah.
but every restaurant gets, kind of those people
A mix
in
of
some
people
aspect.
like that.
Yeah, the do you know who I am? Because we have all this money or whatever. Yeah. We've got Planet Mondo saying the ending reminded me of Midsummer.
That's another thing that I wrote.
I prefer this over Midsommar. Or Midsommar. You guys do one of these shows for Beau is Afraid.
Yes.
I know that you,
Yes.
Tracy, you had an idea of doing something for Beau is Afraid eventually, or possibly. I don't know if that was still in the works or if I spoiled it or
No. And honestly, you're such a great host. If you want to take the idea, it's fine with me. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to see that one first.
That's
but
true.
You did do a great review on that too, and I know it's 3 hours, so I got to get around to that one. But yeah, go check out Nerdy Film Girls page if you haven't already. Subscribed to all these incredible guests. Seriously, if they're not on YouTube, they are on Instagram like Mizzy and Gus. Others have the YouTube channel in the description down below, so I should. But yeah, Tracy did do a review for Beau is Afraid recently, so go check out her channel for that. We got Dell saying hey to the panel and the chat. He did a conversation for Movie Swap earlier. So go check out the replay if you missed it. We got Tales from the Shelf saying waiting is hilarious and a very accurate depiction of restaurant life. Yeah, kind of. Menu is phenomenal. We got Tim says my career is already ruined and I'm not cooking myself like a s'more.
I like s'mores. S'mores are great.
Hi everyone on the streaming chat. I love the menu. What an original and interesting film. Thank you so much. Loved it. Thank you, Walter. Thank you for being here. We got Adam saying exactly, Gus. We got the Ranking Renegade. Menu was surprisingly good. Oh, Fish, I hate that. Or when they say they know the owner, you're like, so do I. What's up, Walter? Agree, Fish. It covered different types of people. Well, what up, Benicio? Hope you are doing good. All right, so we're caught up there. I wanted to go ahead and segue into the next. Also, another quote from the movie that I wrote down was, "You'll eat less than you desire and more than you deserve." When she whispers in his ear, that I love that. What does that mean to you, Tracy? I'll let you kind of go ahead and take it. If anybody has anything to say about it, go ahead and jump in.
Can you just say it one more time?
Yeah, when it's Hung Chau's character, Hung Cho or Chow, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but you'll eat less than you desire and more than you deserve. She says, and I love that quote. Just curious if anybody had anything to say about what that quote meant or what you thought it meant.
I mean, I feel coming from her perspective that none of those people deserve to eat any of their food to begin with. Unless like they're not even. Yeah, I think it's just mildly on the very surface of that quote. It would be essentially like those people don't appreciate it and don't deserve it. So
yeah. I love when she says that.
I agree with Tracy. So with that one, when she said that, to me, that was really the first time in the movie you hear anyone in that room being told no. They're sitting there asking for their world famous bread, and they're like, hey, well, guess what? We're going to give you everything that goes with the bread, but the bread. And so the guy was like, well, we know the guy who owns this place, so, just give us the bread. Like, it's fine. And she's like, no. He's like, excuse me? And then that's when the do you know who we are thing came in. Like, you're not entitled to anything. You're not getting anything that's not already set out for you. And so when she said, you know, you're going to eat less than you desire, but more than you deserve, I agree with Tracy 100%. That's her saying, you don't deserve to get what we're going to give you, and you're not going to get what you want. So ultimately, finally being able to tell these entitled people no for the first time kind of blew all of them for a loop. Because, I mean, let's be real, people in the restaurant business, they really don't get to tell people no a lot of the time. It's always like, yeah, let me see what I can do for you. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that for you. It's always yes, yes, yes. You very rarely get to sit there and be like, with us. By the way, she had a huge smile on her face. I don't know if you guys noticed it. And she was like, no. No, you're not getting that. Yeah. I'm sorry. And then she, you know, whispered that in his ear, and he was just sitting there like, what?
In shock. Yeah.
It was fantastic. I loved it. Oh, it was so good. Oh, that was one of my favorite quotes of this movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, another note I have that just curious on anybody's thought on this. So now getting into the chef and his passion and desire. So they talk a lot about passion and desire in this movie, and we'll get into that more so later. But one of the things I wrote down about the chef was he pays all the attention to detail in the world, and they're so precise, but they serve without love. They don't have that love. And she talks, I think at one point, Margot might even say it. But you can see that throughout the movie that they're so precise, but none of them, in my opinion, serve with love. And, you know, Fish has talked about it a lot. And, you know, people can read through bullshit, right? And when I'm talking to Fish on, you know, voice messages or whatever it is, or even Tiana working at a restaurant, like Fish will be excited. He talks about, he'll hit me up, sending me a voice message, and he'll be all excited. He'll be like almost screaming about a customer he just loves, you know? So I believe when he talks to me that Fish serves his customers with love. I believe that from Tiana and so on and so forth. And Tracy, I'm still getting to know you more and more. But it's one of those things, I don't see that from them. And I think that's where sometimes we talk about like passion and desire disappeared. What did you think? I mean, that's obviously a big theme of this movie, but what are your thoughts on the whole? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you kind of don't? You kind of disagree? And it's okay to disagree here. You know, this is what the movie means to you and what you believe. So go ahead.
No, absolutely. Like we talked about earlier, they were very precise and robotic almost, to the point of like no emotion, no, very just there, you know, just blinders.
Yeah.
They lost that passion, that, you know, that fire, the fire under their pan, you know. Yeah. So you could see it all over them, and that's I think that's what led them to believe that, you know, yeah, this is it, might as well, this is how we're gonna go, and we're all willing to do this way, and let's take some of these assholes with us on the way. But
I think you could go through the motions so much in life, in your career, whatever it is. I mean, for some people, I think YouTube, you know, you hear people talk about being burnt out creating content. I think some people could very well get in the habit of, I'm just going to put out content, but do you really love it? Like, do you really love doing it? Do you love interacting with people? Do you love the chat and stuff like that? And I've been guilty of it in my own life sometimes, in my own career and things like that, where you go through the motions and sometimes your desire and passion's just not there.
There's a quote that Chef said. I mean, we can tell that everybody's tired of the shit, you know, that entails being a chef and being ripped and scrutinized. But he said, never be satisfied trying to satisfy those who have access to our menu. So they don't find satisfaction in trying to satisfy any of those people, because they'll never be satisfied. They'll always find something to complain about. So I thought that was a cool quote.
Yeah, never appreciate what's right there.
There's a pretty powerful shot in the movie where Margot is looking for that wine barrel, and she, when she goes into his bedroom and you see there's only a few pictures on the wall. He's minimalist. He doesn't have anything around. And you find out that he had a wife, a child, and the sooner on pictures where he was just starting out and he was working at a burger restaurant, he had a huge smile on his face. He was getting all these awesome reviews, and as his life went on, he kind of turned into something that he hated. He also turned into a yes man, and that's when he finally started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and started having higher expectations. And if you notice in the photos, the smile diminishes the more popular he becomes. The smile is no longer there. And then there's the last photo is him with that owner of Hawthorne. He has no smile whatsoever. He's just and he's like hand in hand in the photo with this guy, like just got his own restaurant on this island. It's this spectacular thing. It would normally make anybody happy, right? But not if it's not something that you love doing anymore, because you're basically being told what to do. So he had slowly started losing his own drive and his own art because he was basically becoming a yes man and doing things for other people. And so that scene in particular was very powerful to see why he is the way he was at that point in time, because he had just basically, I guess it's pretty apparent to say he lost his family, his wife, his child. He lives on the island now with these other crazy chefs, this cult-like chef thing. And, even in his living space, the kitchen is the biggest part, and he's literally sleeping in a corner. That's his space, but the kitchen takes over everything. So for me, when I saw that the kitchen was the mass living space, that was kind of showing me, I took it anyway, is he lives and breathes cooking, but he's not passionate about it anymore because he feels like he has to do what other people want him to do, and he doesn't have control anymore. So it's like Fish and Gus and Tracy said, it's very robotic. Every movement that they're making is on point. They're all moving in the same exact way. Everything is precisely mapped out on the thing. It's all very robotic. There's no mistakes. There's no nothing on it. Everything is perfect. But when she gets the burger, he's crushing the meat together, and that's actually the first time in the movie you actually see him smiling. Right. Is when he's making the burger, and he's so happy, and so he's back in his space. And that whole scene when they're panning across the photographs, I was kind of like, okay, this is why they are the way that they are.
They
lost their passion.
Like Chef had a smirk on his face as he was making the burger. It's the first time in the movie that we get to see him cook with love, essentially. And the first time he smiles after she says, "Now that's a cheeseburger," and he smiles. Yeah. And she obviously saw him do it. But I think what Caprice is kind of touching on, I wanted to talk a bit about my own career and my passion and desire sometimes fading. And when I started my career as a trainer, I was spending 15, 16 hours a day at the gym. I was living and breathing it. I wanted to be the most successful. I'm competitive, and I just wanted to be the best. And I wanted to change lives. You get into that, and you rapidly, like right away, you're just like, I want to make a difference, right? And you get into that, and then the gym I was working at like made it about sales. And there was a time when I brought a client over to a sales rep, and he sold him sessions, and he was like, afterwards, he was like, he sold it for like $56 a session, right? And then he's like, I could have sold it for $75 because he was a doctor and he didn't bat an eyelash at price. And it's just like, it killed my drive as a trainer, seeing that. I understand sales is part of it. You don't get a client without selling a product, right? But you never want it to become about that. I think it first needs to be about changing lives and helping others. And if you can do that, I think people and potential clients will start to realize, hey, this person has the right heart. They're here to help make a difference. Obviously, it's money, it's sales, but I want the client to come first and sales second, if that makes sense. And it's like I felt my passion and desire fade and kind of die because you're spending all these time not getting paid for these hours. And, you know, it's just like, so I've been there. In this movie, when I walked out of the theater, that was the first thing I said to my dad, because I saw it with my dad. And I was like, Dad, this hits hard for me. I was like, somebody who struggled in my own career. I was like, I could feel this like a lot. I'm not going to say I teared up, but like I was definitely feeling emotional in the meaning of what I took from the movie, if that makes sense. Sorry to go down a whole rant there. But yeah, I really enjoy diving deep with these things. But did anyone want to touch on what Caprice was saying there? And we'll talk more about it later on.
I actually just really quickly want to touch on something you just said, because I also used to do personal training, and I was working at a YMCA, and a big reason why I stopped was YMCA makes so much money per session compared to what they actually pay the trainer. And I just like couldn't sustain that anymore. It was always like a side gig for me as well. But you're right. At the end of the day, you're doing it because you want to help people. And you know, a lot of these gyms, like they don't think like that really, you know, it is about sales.
Yeah. And to touch on that, when in the movie, they cook, they're delicate, they're precise. And I've been there in my own life as a trainer where all of a sudden the gym wants you to make it about money. And I'm precise. I put together workouts, but my mind wasn't in the right place. I was doing it and I was showing up and I started to care more about a paycheck than the clients. And that's why this movie hit me so hard, because I left the gym to do it independently. That's why I make my own schedule and things like that. But so I can relate to what you're saying there, Tracy, because yeah, sometimes it's just overwhelming. The gym's taking so much and you're like, I'm worth more. You also got to believe in what you're worth and charge what you're worth, you know? So yeah, I think that's important. I don't want to touch on that too long. I'm sorry to go on a rant there. Adam says, agreed, Fish. It covered different types of people well. Walter says, what's up, Benicio? Sydney says, some parts of the movie reminded me of The Emperor's New Clothes and Falling Down. I've never seen either. We've got Dell saying, next time I have a problem in a movie, I'm saying, you treat me this way, I know Bobby Blue. Hard Copy Blue says, I think Ralph Fiennes was so crucial to this film. He was great. Imagine if they miscast that role, the whole movie would have gone to shit. I agree. Yeah. Did you guys know the opening shot with her taking puff of the cigarette is stock video? That's wild. Did not know.
No. Wow.
It rhymes so you can sing it, Dell. Vin, a lot of people saying hi to Vin, Gus, and Dell. It's a tasting menu, and some of them came starving. Hey, Laren, hope you are enjoying Tuesday. Just a lot of people saying hi back and forth. We got Sydney saying, that's it. All boils down to the character's sense of entitlement. Adam says they were like machines in that kitchen. Gianna says, I have a customer service voice. Tim says, I don't serve any of my customers with love. I want to Ace Ventura that shit.
I can actually see that, Tim.
Throwing packages and
yeah, and he sent it once in a group chat of him jumping on packages, or not him, somebody. Sorry, Adam, us delivery people suck. Tim, that's why my packages come looking like they've been kicked to the door. Hard Copy Blue says, Tim, it's like you're about ready to drug FedEx and send it into a flaming tent inside a brave suit. Tim, you need to listen to calmer music when you drive. Yeah, maybe some Disney music. They always make that would make me more depressed. Walter says Caprice just said it was all robotic, but I feel it was ritualistic. It is like some type of high magic, and their art in life would then be sacrificed. Mel saying, what's up to Walter? Ritualistic is how I took it to Walter. That lines up with them being presented as a cult, blindly following their leader wherever he takes them, wherever he takes them. Also, Caprice, I feel ritualistic and robotics does go hand in hand. Yep. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm done with my first page for the most part. I got a question for all of you.
I was actually going to say something about what Caprice was talking about real quick. Talking about losing his passion, you saw how he changed throughout the years, and at the end, he had basically, like, I don't know, it took a very Faustish take to me. He sold his soul to the devil, basically, and, to get what he wanted, to be where he wanted to be. But, with that came a price, and that price was his passion, and his love for cooking, you know, to achieve this ultimate goal of, I don't know what, fame, stardom, I don't know, but yeah, that it felt very, I sold my soul to the devil kind of to me as well.
Yeah. Which almost goes into my next kind of segue here. I keep trying to do that here, but let's talk about Jeremy. So what I wrote down is Jeremy is good but not great. Okay, so this is everything that the chef says to him. Jeremy is good but not great. He feels pressure to put out the best food in the world. It's impossible to avoid the mess, he says. The mess you make of your life, your body, your sanity to pleasing people. What did you, because I put killing yourself to be so perfect is what I kind of put. And then I asked the question, are you happy with this life you've built for yourself? I actually think he might ask that. And then, he does ask that. And he says, no, chef, I'm not, I believe. So what did you think of that entire scene and what he says there? Tracy, I'll go ahead and let you get started with that.
Well, I think too, and this is touched upon earlier, when you see the photos of his happiness as well, you know, being a chef, sometimes, you know, because of the schedule it's really hard to sometimes have sustainable relationships, and it can be really difficult on family members or even in a, you know, partner relationship. So that's definitely a factor for sure. And I've seen a lot of chefs in my time, like not all of them, and also servers. So I'm not just saying chefs, but like either definitely alcoholics, definitely doing a lot of cocaine. Like it can be a very toxic position if you aren't like mentally really balanced for that.
Yeah. Caprice, got anything?
I was actually reading the quote. I have the script here in front of me, by the way. That's what I keep looking at. So I have my notes highlighted on here.
That's so cool.
I was just reading the quote. So he says, like mine, his life is pressure to put out the best food in the world, pressure to please his chef, pressure to please the customers and the critics. And even when all goes right, the food is perfect and the customers are happy and the critics are too. There is no way to avoid the mess, referencing the name of his dish. And then it says, the mess you make of your life, your body, your sanity by giving everything you have to pleasing people you will never know. And then he says, Jeremy, do you like your life? Is this the life you dreamed about? Jeremy says, no. And then he said, do you want my life? Mm-hmm. And Jeremy says crying, no, chef. And then that's when he introduces the mess.
Kills himself.
So it's one of those things where I think Jeremy, like you said, Bob, is wanting to be so, he wanted to be like Chef at some point. He really did. He wanted that life. He thought it was glitz and glamour. Everybody thought he was amazing. He was super popular. He was probably making all kinds of money. But ultimately, he had no life. He lost his life because he was striving for perfection, and something that he ultimately realized that no matter how perfect you are, you're never going to please people who can't be pleased. And he says that in the movie as well. And so I think that Jeremy was kind of his representation of just kind of being like, I thought I wanted this life, but now I don't, because it's not what I thought that it was. And so ultimately when he, shot himself in that, what I felt, going back to what, Del and I'm sorry, but somebody else was saying that to me wasn't the robotic part. That to me was the ritualistic part. They put the mat down on the floor. They put the lavender all around it. They made this beautiful setting, and then he shoots himself in the mouth. So when he says, do you want my life? And he looks at him and he's crying and he's like, no, chef, I don't, because it's you don't even want your life. Yeah. You don't even want this life anymore. There's no point. And then after he shoots himself and everybody's freaking out, chef is kind of standing there and he says, oh, don't worry, it's all a part of the menu.
The menu.
And kind of like just a backhanded comment, like, don't worry, this is just the beginning. But yeah, ultimately, I feel like it was one of those things where he was just like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Mizzy, I'll let you jump in if you had anything to say on that. I know you've been in the corner. Nobody puts Mizzy in the corner.
Yeah, right.
Nobody puts me in the corner.
No, I like what Caprice said. I thought he had shot himself because he didn't feel adequate, and he never think he would come to that level as Chef was. But it was kind of shocking. I just think all of the sous chefs, what are they called? Didn't. Yeah, thank you. Didn't feel like they would ever reach a higher level, so they kind of plateaued and lost interest, and that's why like Fish said they'd go down with the ship gladly. Which it's crazy to think, but
we got Adam saying, I thought at first they were laying down Rosemary. Maybe. Gus, you got anything to add on, and then I'll let Fish take it over. Sorry, Mizzy, if you weren't done talking.
No, you're good.
Yeah, actually, when he said the sous chef, usually sous chefs are like in command. They're below the head chef. So in case chef was busy anywhere in the kitchen, Jeremy was literally in charge of making sure everything was done the way chef wanted it. So you can see the pressure that would entail. And you could see why the comment of chef, he wants to be like me, because he's literally under chef. But then the other thing that also I was thinking is in sous cooking, which means under, usually involves cooking with hot water, underneath hot water. So you could see the parallels of being a sous chef. You're in hot water because if you mess up, that could mean the end of your career or whatever, So there's that pressure, and maybe when he shot himself, he was just to that point where he knew that he would never be in the caliber of chef. So it was better just to, put an end to his life.
Yeah. I really like what Mika says here. I'm sorry to interrupt. I saw this comment come across. Such a powerful scene with Jeremy. One can often find themselves glamorizing another's life, career, etc., to then realize it is not always as great as it seems. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, no, definitely. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's that envy. Well, I was just watching Seven the other day, so yeah, envy. So, but yeah, just not living up to an expectation or a goal or something loftier, not being able to fulfill that and feeling less than, and feeling like you have no other avenue, that this is it. It's not going to get any better. I have nothing else. There's nowhere else to go. I've reached the pinnacle of what I think, or what people think I am capable of. I can't even achieve that next step because I've been plateaued at this level that I can't go anywhere else. So might as well. This is it. This is where we're gonna go. This is what, I keep saying this is how we're gonna do it.
It's definitely dangerous to envy and idolize people, I think. We always hear the term that's my idol thrown out there so often. I think it can be dangerous, like Mika said, to envy somebody too much. Like, I definitely, looking at, this is kind of off topic here, but like looking at, I think there's a lot of people in the community could look at Tony's collection and really, find themselves envying that. But I don't ever look at Tony's collection and like envy it to the point of unhealthiness, if that makes sense. I just look at it and I say, it's a great collection. I'd love to have that someday. Right. And you could try to get to that point to be able to grow a collection like that. But yeah, it can get dangerous when you idolize somebody to an unhealthy point, though, or envy them too much, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
We got Sydney in the chat saying the chef has become soulless, kind of like the AI robot in a video that went viral, who worked as a slave for 15 minutes putting stuff in boxes in a warehouse and then logically thought it's better to die, so it shut down its system. Yeah. I think Sydney changed her profile photo. I was not recognizing them. But yes, okay, let's go ahead and dive into the next thing I wanted to talk about. How's everyone doing? Okay so far? If you have anything, like I said, at any point, just interrupt me. Don't be afraid to interrupt me and be like, hey, shut up, I got something to say. So has the old couple, they've eaten there 11 times and can't remember one single meal. So we briefly touched on this, but I really wanted to kind of go ahead and dig into that and what that means. I mean, to me, I'll just can't believe that. You know what I mean? You can't remember one single dish. And he says, what about the last one you had? And then I think, what did they say? And he's like, no. He says,
it's
no, it wasn't.
Oh yes.
It was the wrong type of fish or something. It was cod instead of haddock or something or whatever it was.
And he was like, it was halibut.
Yeah, halibut.
He called her a goat.
Cow, yeah.
Cow.
Yeah. Halibut cow. Yeah. But yeah,
he says cod. Yeah, that's not correct. It was halibut. You goat, whatever he calls him. Yeah.
Goat. I think it was goat.
Was it a goat?
I think it was goat.
Some sort of farm animal.
I mean, I can fact check it in a second. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it was goat.
Fish, I'll let you go ahead and take this one really quick if you want to touch on it.
And the fact that it's not even special. It's just, oh, here we are again, kind of thing. Well, we're out here out at Hawthorne one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Not even appreciating the fact that he does what he does for you and presents and has a menu and it flows and it has a purpose, and for you to just go out there and all right, see you next time, in and out, you eat it and you don't even pay any attention to it. It's just just don't appreciate. Yeah.
Helen wants to know, Fish, what was it? I think you had said a different name or something. That's why he was asking that. But yes, absolutely. For me, I talked about that book earlier, but live life with a capital L. There's so many times we miss moments right in front of us because 11 times and you can't even remember one single moment. You're missing life in front of you while it's happening.
Right.
You can't remember anything about it. Gus, go ahead if you want to add to that or had anything to say.
Yeah, actually, the older couple to me just read fakeness to me. Because if you look at them eating, the wife just is so posh when drinking out of her wine glass. She has this air of sophistication that she's better than the rest of the people there in the restaurant. But it just shows that they're not there for the food. They're just there for shows. They're there. Look at us. We can afford this. We can just boast about we've been here 11 times, but we don't. They can't even stop and even remember from those 11 times one single dish that they had.
Yeah, Tracy, anything to add on to you?
Yeah, I feel like that mentality, it kind of goes along with another theme that I feel like the film has a little bit, which is, and it's a very simple theme. It's not big, but it's like money doesn't buy you class. And I feel like I see that a lot sometimes in my industry for sure. And I just the way people handle themselves and not appreciating things, I think is tied to that.
Yeah. Busy, did you have anything to add you wanted to?
No, it's just interesting that they can't remember anything that they've had, and they just seem very miserable as a couple. Anyways, obviously he's cheating on her, she's doing whatever. They just seem like they've probably been together like a long time, but they probably just do their own separate things in life, and They don't
Yeah,
even
it's
seem like
wild
they're in
that
love. Like
he's cheating on her, and one of the women was Marco.
it's right there. Yeah, like
Yeah.
literally right there.
Nika says, yes, Laren is so true. When you idolize people and don't see them as human and fallible, you are setting up unrealistic expectations of that person. Adam says, another example of just going through the motions. Yep. And it's inevitable to become jaded to what we get used to experiencing. Being appreciative in life is challenging, but so very important. So many people are making so many great points in the chat. So I appreciate everybody in the chat who's tuning in tonight. Mika, Vin, Adam, so many more of you in the chat tonight. Walter and everybody, as well as Sydney. Thank you so much to everybody that's been hanging around so far. Adam says they forgot how to stop and smell the roses. Yeah. Mika, so true. Mika says so true. Tracy, money doesn't buy you class. Yeah. Absolutely.
For me, the two old couple kind of like emphasize basically it was entitlement for me. So it was entitlement, and it was basically like a status symbol, like, oh, we can come here 11 times or 12 times, and it's just another thing for us. And the chef says at one point, after he calls Lillian a goat, he says, he says, something along the lines of, you come here and you can't even remember something that I've taken the time to do for you, and every single time it hasn't changed. It's been done the same way every single time, and you can't even acknowledge it because you feel like it's just owed to you. It's something that I do for everybody. When I don't, this is an exclusive thing, and you just come when there are people who would die to come here just one time. You've come here 12. And so for me, it was more or less just them just going there because they could. And then at the same time, when the guy had had enough of whatever chef was saying, he got up and, the lady says, oh, there's no boat service. And he goes, oh, that's fine. I'll just call a helicopter. And she was like, not without a phone. So it's kind of like they were just the epitome of everything that he hated. They were entitled, and they felt like everything was owed to them. And it was just a status symbol to be there. And so behind the iron gate, he's cheating on his wife with this chick who's sitting right behind him, who happens to be an escort, who's there with another guy, because his date broke up with him. So it's like, you never, these people, yeah, sure, it might have been a status symbol for them, but behind everything, they're just as messed up as everybody else. And so he was kind of putting them in their place with those comments. So
I could see why his date or his girlfriend broke up with him after watching it.
Right?
I get it now.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
No.
I love when he calls her, like, starts to call her names and she's like, excuse me? She's like, you need to apologize right now. I was like, yeah, get his ass. I was like, that's not okay. But I wanted to talk about one of the scenes, if everybody's good there. Something I wrote down here is so they're in the kitchen, Margot and the chef, and they both say to them, basically to each other, they used to enjoy providing a service, obviously a different service, but chef says he misses the feeling of having a desire to cook for customers. So there's that word desire. And I put in parentheses, lost that desire. And then I put passion and desire had died. And so that's something I had written down there. I don't know if anybody wanted to jump in and talk about that in particular at all. Mizzy, go ahead.
Clearly the chef did lose his passion. I don't know. I guess what she said. Does she have not a passion to serve her customers, I guess, anymore, or it's just about money? But like that happens in life, unfortunately, and it sucks. And when you don't have a passion for something that you're doing, it's almost like, what's the point anymore? And I think you gotta, they say most people don't like their jobs or don't like, but you gotta have a little interest or a little love for what you do to enjoy it, not just wake up and be like, oh God, I gotta go here again and here's my 9 to 5 and just fucking do it to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Also,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I actually wrote on here not enjoyable to cook, but then I put on here that eaters, the eaters, the people that were there to eat were takers, and the cooks were givers. And I feel like that applies to a lot of things in life. You know, friendships. You know, maybe you have friendships that take, but never give. Jobs that take, but never give. Usually when we get tired of a job, it's probably because they're taking but never giving anything to satisfy our I guess that spot that we feel we need to feel accomplished, I guess, you know. And because sometimes I wonder, why would anybody want to work as a bartender or server when they get treated like shit? But there's people that love their jobs doing that, but it depends what restaurant and what clientele they're serving. And most there's people that say, oh, I love doing that because I get to talk to people, they're super nice. And that goes into the people. Are they takers? All they want is just to take and never give, even if it's just like a comment, oh, thank you, I appreciate this drink was amazing, and or a nice tip, you know. So that's what I kind of
Yeah, all I was gonna say was that he should have just started a food truck like Jon Favreau.
That called chef, right?
chef.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. You know, putting givers and takers, putting yourself out there. Like I was talking about earlier, the passion to serve. I enjoy what I do. I really do. I was a bartender before I was a server, so it was a little different. Bartenders are a little more one-on-one. You know, you're basically the show. You know, you're right there, you're front and center. Everybody's coming to you, and you have if you do have seats, you've got those people that are sitting there, and you're constantly with them all the time. You get to know people. You get to know all kinds of people, trust me. But some people you can embrace and become friendly and become friends, and some can become family. Some others you just tolerate because they're there and they come in all the time. You know, you're, hey, blah, 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 how are you doing again? You know, yeah, here's your Coors Light, whatever. But then there are those people who make it worthwhile. They come in, they want to have a good time, and they want to interact and just be there to enjoy life in there, away from the outside world. They come in there to get away from problems and stuff. So when they appreciate the fact that, you know, you do what you do, because I love what I do, it's nice. But then there are those people that don't appreciate what you do and just take it for granted, and, you know, just it's entitlement. You know, this is why I come in here. You're supposed to do this for me, as opposed to, hey, I'm happy to do this for you, but don't be a dick about it. You know?
I think it's so easy to take things for granted. I love that you brought that up. And even though, yes, we're paying customers, it's still easy to take things for granted in anything in life, whether you're paying for a service or not. And that could kill somebody's desire really quickly when you do that and they don't feel appreciated.
I think the worst phrase that was ever created, because I've when I was younger, I did work in service, is the customer's always right.
You're gonna say that. Oh my god, I want to shoot the guy. If he's not already dead, I want to shoot that asshole. Yeah, I swear to God, I do. Oh god. Oh.
No, the customer's not always right. Sometimes the customer's a fucking asshole and needs to be told they're an asshole. And then when you do, you're the one who's wrong. It's like, oh.
Let me tell you something. Customer's always an asshole.
That's when you hope that you have good management to protect you, for sure, because I've run into that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, man, I was about to rage. I hate that saying. Oh my god.
Let,
I've never seen a panel collectively respond so quickly to a quote ever.
I was waiting for him to
Every
say it. I
single
was
one
like,
of
yeah, I know it's gonna say it, so I can.
let me.
as soon as he said there's a quote, I saw Fish, and I looked at Fish, and I was like, oh my god, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, guys.
Jim says, "Sorry, I'm late to Gus share any of his secret recipes yet." Well, Adam did about cooking Jeremy and rolling him up. Patrons at the restaurant were living truly in the moment and could not savor the experience, especially once then knowing that for almost everyone that would be there for final meal, enjoy each moment. Yeah. Mika says, yes, very entitled. So many people walk through life expecting to just be served. Yeah. They interact on a superficial level to get needs met. Yeah, Mika's coming with some hard truths tonight. Holland said, you got to watch the whole thing, Jim. Walter says, most people ask, what do you do, not what do you enjoy, the American way. Mika says, chef had lost his passion for his work. When you don't love what you do, it becomes hard to be invested in that work, especially if you feel that you aren't serving anyone or finding value. Absolutely. Been there. Well said, Gus. So true, Walter. I would love if we changed that. That's why that cheeseburger scene was so powerful. Chef was able to be reminded of why he became a chef. Absolutely. Johnny says, would Slowik's grilled cheese sandwich have been as good as Casper's? LOL. Jim says, as a chef, I absolutely love that scene when Tyler tried to cook something. These days, now everybody thinks that they can cook at the levels that chefs do. So much goes into a dinner service. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's so easy, Jim. Mallrats is so good, Lauren says. Jim, butter with leeks and 100% agree. Love shells, Gus. I use them in everything. Gus, I love shells too. Great stream tonight, Jimothy. LOL, Jim Powers. Tyler's bullshit. Jim, I gotta get you back on the channel for sure at some point. But did anybody have, I know this isn't necessarily, it was just something that stood out to me upon my second watch, watching it the other day, when Catherine gives her speech outside and she says he tried to fuck her. And then again, 8 months later, he tried, and then he ignored her in the kitchen. And I think that was definitely, they were trying to talk about probably things that go on behind the kitchen, and especially probably to women in the industry. Did anybody have anything they wanted to add to that? It was just something I had written down because I was like, oh, and when I was watching it a second time.
I mean, I feel like the restaurant industry is kind of like notorious for being very incestual, like people hooking up with other people and all of that. Especially at restaurants, you know, like waiting, you have a bunch of kids that are in their early 20s and in different positions, and that, you know, there was always that type of thing for sure. So it's not surprising, you know, and it's better now, obviously, because of the whole Me Too movement and people actually, companies taking accountability. But I'm sure a lot of bad stuff still happens. And, you know, I'm, you know, managers having sex with servers, things like that. So, you know, it happens.
Yeah, man, it was crazy when I first started. It was the early 2000s, so there was still a lot of grab ass going on back then. You know, and how the years has changed, but yeah, like she said, a lot of servers sleeping with servers, bussers, and you know, if they were of age and stuff, and you know, whatever, kitchen staff with, you know, it was waiting basically, you know, but yeah. The Me Too movement changed a lot of things and brought forward a lot of, you know, unsavory things that were happening behind the scenes, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Anybody else want to jump on that?
She says a pretty awesome description of both of what Tracy and Fish just said. She says, I have been groped, I have been leered at, I have earned more but made less, and all of it in the service of men. with themselves so they don't see their own pointlessness. And then she goes and she says that he gets to be the dark romantic genius who suffers for his art, but then a woman is a trooper, a go-getter. She's a mother hen. She makes grandma's recipes with sly modern wit. So it's basically her saying, like, well, he gets to get away with all this stuff and do all this stuff. I'm looked down upon, and, you know, he's this artistic, you know, food genius, but I can't be taken seriously in my own kitchen because I'm looked at as an object, and, you know, I'm not an equal to him. I'm just making my grandma's recipes. I'm not an artistic genius myself. So when she gets to kind of finally have her, I guess, her revenge and, you know, stab him in the leg, which also was his response to his father as well. He stabbed his father in the thigh when he was like choking out his mother. I took that as her kind of taking something away from him, because now he's, you know, going to be crippled or whatever that's going to be. But while she was sitting with the ladies and she was talking about, you know, basically how they had separated the women from the men at that point, and the men were out running for their lives while the ladies were kind of sitting there, and she was like, well, we could be doing that, but we're not seen as equal. And I believe in any industry that's pretty true, especially in the service business. Back then, my mom couldn't have been doing what she's doing now. She wouldn't have been taken as seriously. Now my dad's been doing it since he was 16, and he had a lot more opportunities given to him than my mother did, because obviously she wasn't taken as seriously. But now that the things have changed now, my mom actually makes more than my dad, and she sought out after more than my dad. So the tables have really turned, but I liked how they incorporated that into the movie, because I mean, I've never worked in the food industry. I saw what it did to everybody around me, and I went a different route. But I do know that that's true. Even still to this day, I hear things that my mother and my sisters talk about, and, you know, unfortunately, a lot of the time, it's true. The ladies in the kitchen kind of get the shit end of the stick on that. And I liked how that was kind of pointed out in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to talk about, you said, you brought it up that she stabbed him in the thigh like he did his father. So she's basically telling him, you are just like your father. You're no better than your father. This is, see what you've done to me. This is what, you know, yeah. So, yeah, perfect little, yeah. Yeah.
Jim says women are better chefs in my experience. They have way better taste buds and better imagination. And Gus says that Jim is his favorite chef.
They say that women are better sommeliers as well because of the taste buds. I'm not turning this into like girls are better at everything. I'm just saying, like, that is definitely the taste bud thing for sure.
Right, ladies?
Yeah, so.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
We're pointing out science.
Absolutely. That's the idea of the stream too. Just a few more things I wanted to cover, and we'll get into, you know, it's a couple closing thoughts. Like I said, I don't want to keep everybody all night. We could talk about this movie for hours. Okay, so I have a lot written down here. So basically, just like notes, constantly critiquing and criticizing. So this is about Tyler, constantly critiquing and criticizing, but then when he's put on the spot and asked to cook himself, he folds under the pressure. I wrote, it's easy to sit there and criticize or tell someone they suck or to act like we can do better. And then I put in parentheses, even us as movie critics can kill a filmmaker's desire as if we can actually do any better. And then I put, be more grateful, find something to appreciate. Did anybody have anything they wanted to add to that? Tracy, I'll let you, if you want to talk about it, or.
Go to someone else first.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. You're smiling. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I totally agree with that comment, because, I mean, I've done it. I'm guilty. When I go to, I can't say that I've never been to the Olive Garden. I have been to the Olive Garden, and I hate the elephant, and I'm
You love
starting
it, Gus.
tearing somebody's dream at the factory. But it's just disgusting. But no, it's true that some people can become overly critical to somebody's product. Like Tracy said, critics over criticizing the Mario movie or any other movie, that when you go see it, there's many times where I've gone to see a movie that I got sucky reviews, and then when I see it, it's like, this is really good, or it's not bad, and it's not great, but I have fun with it. I'll definitely buy it and watch it, when I don't feel like thinking. But I feel like these critics have become full of themselves to the point where they think that they are overqualified than the people that actually studied and went to school for the trade, and they're entitled to rip it apart because they can.
What is the one big word he keeps using? He goes right up to the cook, Jeremy, in the beginning, and he's like, is that a
Paco Jet?
Paco Jet, yeah. And then at the end, when he's cooking, the chef asks him, do you want to put it in a Paco Jet? And it's just like, I love that scene. There's so much I wrote down and took away from this movie, but that was something I definitely want to talk deeper on. But anybody else want to talk?
Yeah, and the fact that Gus talked about critics, whether it be food or film or whatever, basically being the like emperor, basically, being Caesar, killing somebody's film, or killing somebody's career, just because they didn't like a certain something that night, yeah, that fact that that can happen nowadays is ridiculous to me. And they feel that critics feel that they have this certain air or this certain power over things. You're like, oh, don't tempt me. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, bad review. Yeah. And like I said, I go to see a movie. I stopped listening to critics years ago. If I go and I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'm gonna walk out. Yeah.
I never ever listen to critics. I don't care what you have to say. Like as a critic, if you hate the movie, great. Great for you. If you loved it, great for you. But I'm going to see it regardless, right. And I'll form my own opinion. It's why I actually don't watch many reviews. I did for Tracy, but it was non-spoiler. And I'll do it occasionally, but usually I won't watch reviews for movies or listen to reviews until I see it and form my own opinion. But sometimes I'll tune in just to get an idea of it because I don't even know what Bo was afraid it was about until I watch your review. So, but usually I'll just wait because I don't want somebody else's opinion changing my thoughts or having me go into the movie thinking anything differently. And I think sometimes I'll read something and all of a sudden I'll be watching the movie differently, or I'll be waiting for this to happen.
To find that point.
Preconceived notions of what's going to happen or how you should feel, or yeah.
I just want to form my own opinion and then we can discuss it. And that's kind of what we do here. So I don't know if anybody else wanted to add to that.
Yeah, there's actually, I was just thinking about this. There's this entire discussion we're talking about, or this theme in particular, they really touch on that as a commentary in Birdman as well with the play critic. There's like so many one-on-one interactions regarding that. So it's the same message, just done in different, it's for Broadway plays instead of restaurants,
Yeah. And like you guys keep mentioning critics. I mean, that could be food critics, movie critics, whatever you want to call it.
That's right there. Yeah.
I mean, if there's any sports fans in watching, scouts could ruin somebody's.
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because they had a bad game or whatever it may be, you can make or break somebody's career with the power you have. And sometimes that sucks. So yeah, let me catch up on the chat here. If any of you wanted to jump in, let me know. I like milkshakes, Lewis says. Holland says me too. Go to side.
I saw steak. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, it's steaks.
Chicken. I can't cook to save my life, barely a few things to survive. Do have great taste buds. So luckily I have peeps who have been blessed in the cooking department. Jim was right. Women have better taste buds. Walter says, I worked on a low budget films. Making films is fucking hard. When people shot all over it, it is a tough pill to swallow, but walk a mile in my shoes. Absolutely. Jim says, yes, Gus, spot on. Holland says, I still got to see Birdman. And Mika says, Birdman, great film. Laren says, watch it. Holland Lewis says, I love Anya, but they did not give her a complex role. Based surface level dialogue. I love the menu, by the way. Jim says, it's so easy to tear something down. I enjoy telling people about movies I love rather than bashing movies I hate. Milkshakes. I agree with that, Jim, and I try to work on that myself. When I don't have anything nice to say, I just kind of tune out. I'll let somebody know, like last night they were talking about Paranormal Activity. I'm not a fan, and I'll just leave it at there. I won't trash it or tear it down. It's just not for me, but I know many people are big fans of it. But that's why sometimes people will say, why don't you have different opinions on the stream? Well, this is more about what it meant to us, and usually I want to keep it pretty positive instead of trashing it. So that's kind of what I try to do with these panels and stuff like that. If that makes sense, I don't want to get somebody on there who's trashing it, because then it would kind of be talking exactly about what we're talking about now. So, but anybody else want to touch on that at all before I go on to one awesome quote? All right, so Margot says, she does say it, you cook with obsession, not love. And I absolutely love that. I think that's so true. Sometimes you could be obsessed with something, but do you really love it? And I've struggled with that in my own life at times, and you want to be able to find that healthy balance. Does that quote mean anything to you, or did any of you want to kind of piggyback or touch on that?
It's basically, yeah, she's right. You lost the love. You're focused solely on how perfect it can be, as opposed to like love is messy. Love is, love can, yeah. But yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. That was like you're too obsessed with how perfect it's supposed to be. You lost the passion for how it could be and how, yeah. Sorry.
No, absolutely. I think even no, you're fine. Even in my own career, like clients could read it when I'm going through the motions versus there with love and I'm putting thought and care into it versus just putting together a workout and going through the motions. People aren't stupid. They could read that. And a lot of people like myself wear my heart on my sleeve so you could tell when I'm high and when I'm low. But Gus, go ahead and sorry.
Chef replied to Margot saying, what do you mean everything I cook is with love in that scene?
Mm-hmm.
But we can tell that he's not cooking with love, and she can tell because he's just standing there like a dictator looking at everybody to see what their expression is. It's like he's trying to prove something. It could be maybe what that critic woman, maybe wrote about him in the past, what everybody's telling him, because he's when the plates go out, he's staring at everybody to see what's up. He doesn't just let it, I've done this many times. I know what this plate looks like. What is it, So I think that she can see that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know, Fish, if you ever feel this way. I'm personally like a very an introverted extrovert, so I feel like a lot of my energy when I'm talking a lot to guests and things like that, there are some days where I just feel like I don't want to talk at all, and so I always look forward to the opportunities where I can be on the service bar, so I can just make drinks for the restaurant and not really have that interaction. Because sometimes like I'll come home and I don't want to talk. I just want to I want to watch something and relax, because it can take a lot out of certain personality types.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I felt that way. Where yeah, I put me in service well. I'll just make drinks for everybody, and I won't have to deal with anybody else. There was a point in time where I didn't want to serve anymore. I took some time off of work, and when I finally did go back to work, I went back to the restaurant. But I asked them if I could just host because I didn't want to deal with people's shit yet. You know, I wanted to be back amongst it, but I didn't want to be in it. You know, hi, how are we doing? Here's your table. Blah blah blah. I'll be taking care of you. Blah blah blah. Help out bus, bus stuff and things like that. And then eventually, I got that drive, that want back to be a server, be back as bartending. Running around doing the things that I used to love to do. So I totally understand where they come from, where they lose the passion and just, had to step away for a minute to appreciate, that side of it, that love that I had for it. So I've been doing this for about 20 years and I still love it. I do. I enjoy it. I meet people all the time. Introverted, extrovert, I wallflower, but I like to come out of my shell every now and again. I like to have a good time, chit chat and stuff like that. Do things like this, but yeah, I did lose my passion for it there for a while, but I got it back and, I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, I think you could definitely get it back. I've lost my passion before, and sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes, sometimes you're on fire, sometimes you're not, and sometimes you just got to kind of ride the waves, so to speak, and just hang in there, sometimes you're just not feeling it.
Right.
Yeah.
You take a break sometimes and figure out if
I've done it with
you and
done it with YouTube, focusing more on work, and sometimes you need to, whether it's your career or whatever it might be. There was some funny comments here. So what's Johnny watching says, I won't bash a flick with the exception of Kill Her Goats. Good. So, with Kill Her Goats, I decided not to make a review or do anything. I supported the filmmaker. I bought steelbook and slipcover, and I'll just keep it at that. I did not like it, but I did not go publicly and make a video with it. So they have that. I can say that at least. Tony, do you want to talk about Kill Her Goats? Walter asks. Kill Her Goats on the shower scenes. Well said, Fish and NFG, Nerdy Film Girl. What does Kill Her Goats mean to us? Featuring Tony. I need to take a break from watching Bob's stream. Sorry, Bob. Tiana says, I always say that one customer can make your day a whole lot different. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. What's
Johnny watching? Oh, I did a review of it. I know he did. I watched his review. Okay. Let's see here. So we talked about that already. So we're kind of at the end here. I wanted to talk about a couple questions that I had. And then one finishing quote here. So I had like 4 topics. They kind of all fall hand in hand. So one of them is, what does the ending mean to you? What do you believe the director is saying about the end? So that could be, what do you believe he's saying, and what did it mean to you? The ending. And then, so we'll start with those 2 questions. And Fish, I'll start with you, and I'll be right back in 2 minutes.
All right. What was that first one?
What the ending mean to you?
Oh, what does the ending mean to me? Wow, that thing was powerful. The fact that they all, I know, I think I saw this, it's going to talk from this, why did they go along with it? But the fact that the clientele went along with it, they were remiss to, all right, this is it, was pretty powerful, because, they had this drive, this want to leave and run away and get away. And, he even gave them a chance to get away. They lost all that. And they were like, all right, well, this is, like I said, this is how it's going to go. This is how it's going to end. And that was just, that just blew my mind, how they just, embraced it, and all right, let's
Yeah.
put the little
Something.
chocolate hat on, and the
Gave
little
up. Yeah.
marshmallow wreath around me, and and we love you, chef, and like I
Love
was
it.
like, this
We
is
love-
nuts, I mean, like,
Yeah.
like I can see the staff doing that, because they're already, in line and ready to do whatever Steph said. But the fact that the people went ahead and were like, all right, here we go,
They're really
no
brainwashed
fight or
something.
anything. And
Yeah,
they said, you could have taken us over anytime. They're not mercenaries, they're chefs,
Yeah.
Of course they got knives, you can get a knife too, but it was nuts, the fact that they just embraced it and it's like, here we go. But yeah.
I think Chef said that too during the scene where
He
the
did.
help comes. I think he says, if you really wanted to like not do this, like you guys could have overtaken us at any time. Like kind of just, backhanded slapping him a little bit. Like you could have done this, but you didn't.
No one really fights back. They try to run a few times.
Right.
One guy gets tripped, and then they try to run later on in the movie. I don't know how they got found so easily, but
Yeah, that was
that I'll put past me here.
The
But
dude in the chicken coop.
yeah, kind of got
The guy's just
yeah, it's a dessert.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of standard chefs in there, and then outside of that, they had three people watching the door. If they all teamed up or something like that, there's a lot of men in there, and Anya Taylor-Joy, she was a toughie herself. So yeah, at some point I feel like they could have fought back, but he even says that. And then they still don't fight back after he says it. Why not fight back? You're going to die. He says you could have fought back. Go for it. You're going to die anyways. Are you content with dying? I mean,
I try him.
Yeah.
And even the Nicholas Hoult character, the fact that he definitely knew going in that he was going to die on that. It reminded me so much of that Eminem song "Stan," like that one crazy fan that's so obsessed they're willing to just die for them, or obviously it's a different plot in that song, but it's very reminiscent.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy, what is the? And I'm just going hand in hand here with what does the ending mean to you, and what do you believe the director is saying at the end? If you wanted to, you were just talking about it, so if you wanted to.
Sure. I mean, I do love, there's always that conversation when it comes to, Thanos from the Marvel films of being right. Like he has a kind of a point sometimes, would the planet be a better place and other things. And this is so fascinating because you really do. I mean, think about how much tonight all of us kind of sided with Ralph Fiennes, and it's like Ralph Fiennes, and it's like when does that really happen that much in horror films? Like very rarely. I mean, you always kind of see their perspective for sure, but you're not like championing them the whole time. So I love that. Yeah, I think it's definitely a little a little wink satire on taking things too seriously for sure. And taking yourself too seriously, keeping your egos in check. And I think all the characters except for Anya Taylor-Joy really needed to do that.
Yeah. Go ahead. If Gus or Mizzy or Caprice, did you want to touch on it? To talk about?
I just think it was funny that after she grabbed her burger, she just like walked out. Like no one like followed her, or they all just decided to stay, and it was almost like to me like they were almost like brainwashed or something. Like
they gave up, I guess, at that.
Yeah, like you just gave up on life.
The one woman nods her head like, "Go ahead."
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's like, "Get out of here. Go for it. You're free." Yeah. We're not going anywhere.
To me, it's crazy, but yeah.
Gus, did you want to touch on it?
And ultimately, I think that even because I think at one point he says to her, everybody here has been picked for a reason. You are not supposed to be here.
Right.
He said you're ruining everything, basically, like because he doesn't have a gripe with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when she kind of gave him his little moment of his moment of happiness back and being in his element by making something as simple as a burger, that was him saying, okay, like you gave me this moment, I'm going to give you yours, you can go. So I feel like if anybody else tried to get up and leave, like they wouldn't have been able to. But I think since she kind of gave him that little moment back,
Yeah,
like right
passion,
before he
yeah.
was going to have his last moment,
Yeah.
like that was his kind of moment of, I guess, moment of mercy, and was like, yeah, go ahead, you can go because you gave me this. I'm going to give you this, like as an exchange.
Yeah.
You didn't belong here anyway, so
Yeah. Exactly.
Thing, are you with us or with them? So she wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. So
Right.
Gus, you're the only one that didn't quite touch on it yet. What did the ending kind of mean to you, or what do you think was the idea of the ending?
Well, I think that Chef saw that Margot wasn't eating none of his food, so he wasn't idolizing him because of the status of the restaurant or what she heard that the food was magnificent. She knew that she didn't want it. Because she said, I'm starving to death.
Right.
I want a freaking burger.
Yeah, she didn't want to eat anything else. Yeah, and I think that kind of pissed him off too.
I love that scene. I love that whole scene.
I don't think it pissed him off. I think what he saw in that was like, okay, this girl is not a pretentious person. She's not here for the shows. She actually came because she wanted to eat.
She appreciates
simple things. Is what I wrote on here. Simple things, no BS.
Right.
She loves the burger. She takes a bite and she's like, now that's a cheeseburger, and he smiles.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fact that she asks for it to go is another thing that you don't do in upscale restaurants. If you don't need it, you just leave it there, because I feel like it's seen as tacky to take it. If you go to this restaurant, then
I love when he's like, yeah, we could probably do that, like a cheeseburger.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm sure
and then
the other people there would have
crinkle cut, or what is it?
Yeah, crinkle fries or
crinkle cut.
Julianne.
Julian.
So good.
Julian.
So I mean, the fact that he sees those little things that he probably hasn't seen since the days that he was actually making burgers, flipping burgers back in the day when he was having passion for cooking, and then she is enjoying the burger as the other people are paying for their sins as a miserably disgusting s'more.
Right.
Yeah, it's more.
For me too, like, no matter how much you love something, if you do it every day, right? I feel like you can still love something that you do every day 30 years later, 40 years later. Look at successful marriages, seeing somebody every day. But I think you have to be able to find the passion every day in it. And if you have to deal with bullshit day after day, or you're going to lose that passion and desire, as we talked about, so many times. But yeah, I mean, you can have that same passion. You see it so many times in people's careers. 40 years later, they still love what they do. But, I think having great customers and people who are appreciative will tell you, I think it goes a long way into you being like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. And when you have to deal with the BS, it's hard. Some people don't mind it. Some people do. I mean, yeah. So I'll talk about it more in a minute here. I got like one more question, I think, and I wanted to catch up on the chat here. We got Brian saying, I need a cheeseburger after thinking about this movie.
Me too.
Right? Burgers for everyone. Yeah, Gus, are you making burgers for all of us? He says this movie is good because it's thought-provoking. It's a given to do things just to survive. But in the grand scheme of things, if you do not find any meaning to what you're doing, what's the point? Absolutely. Great point.
For sure.
Tiana says Mama Blu-ray with hearts. Fish,
Hi,
were
Mama
you
Blu-ray.
Nature D? You seem like you have the right temperament and patience for it. What's Johnny watching? I got the ending. It seemed like that. It seemed that the clients accepted their fate. They weren't going to change who they were. Yeah, that's true. Brian says they would rather be a s'more than run away from the restaurant. I would love to get stuff and s'mores in my place. Mama Blu-ray says Fish, Gus, Miz, and Bob. Appreciate you being
Mama.
here. Tiana says, haha, Jim. Tiana. Brian Goes Blue says, Coco says enough. Helen says, I hope she didn't have to use that line recently. Adam, the movie hunter, I couldn't believe no one but Margot wanted to leave by the end. Crazy. Tiana loves movies they could have got out. LOL. Chef hates s'mores too, the most offensive dessert, he says. All the patrons had no fight because they were already dead inside. Walter says. Brian says, no, that was our last awful movie experience. Mika says, loved the ending scene again. My favorite part is that cheeseburger scene with Margot. She and Chef having that moment of appreciation was great. The others were resigned to their fate. Yep. Those uppity rich people have zero fight. Lewis says, who would have thought Nicholas Hoult would go from Skins to this? Shout out to the U.S. Skins. Helen says they didn't have the energy to fight back, not enough to eat.
Because they had no
Yeah. I myself don't like meat.
They missed the carbs. They missed out on the carbs.
They didn't
Getting out of there. I would have followed suit with that. Margot did. Would have ordered a cheeseburger express delight and have it to go to. Then at least I would have survived. Yeah. Lewis says we're a team. We go down with the captain.
Yes, Jen. That was hella funny. He was like, do you have student loans? And she's like, no. And he's like, you're gonna die. Like, you're entitled to. You have no student loans,
Right?
Yeah, because she was stealing money from the other guy. Even
He was
right?
happiest when he was a burger cook. It was the only picture he had where he was smiling. Yeah. What's up, everyone? Sue says he's
Hey,
awesome
Sue.
in this panel.
Hey,
Awesome panel. I love the menu. What a great surprise from last year. Thanks for stopping in, Sue. Jim says Sue. A bunch of Sues back and forth. And we've got Sydney saying, I would have fought till the end, unlike the others who just gave up. If anything, standing up to the chef may change things. Anything that would trigger him. I really do want that cheeseburger, though. Yeah.
Another thing that just came to mind was probably the reason that they probably didn't fight was because every time they found themselves in a position, in an awkward position or in a bad position, they could just flaunt their money or their power to get out of it. And now that it's not working,
Right.
they're not accustomed to have that flight response. So now they're like, if people in the chat have said they became to the point where, I'm a piece of shit, so I'm just gonna give up. There's no way out of this.
They came to the realization
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm just a s'more. I'm just a s'more and I'm gonna die. Like, that's one. By the way, has anyone ever had a hot marshmallow on their skin? Has anyone accidentally been burned with marshmallow?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, from a s'more actually. So
So I was like, he really, really sought that out. Like, he was like, what is the most painful way to get these people back? And yeah, let's just burn marshmallow onto the skin and just hope for the best. Like,
Yeah. Brian says if you guys liked this movie, definitely check out the show The Bear. It's great.
I want to see it
I heard
so
it's
bad.
good. Yeah,
I've heard it's great. Yeah, he just won
He
Golden
won
Globes and
yeah.
yeah.
I'm writing it down.
I've never
It's
had
on
one.
Shameless, yeah.
Caprice is yeah, like, I'm gonna go make a s'more and put it on my skin and see
no,
No, don't do that.
see how
completely by accident. Mine was completely by accident. Don't do it.
yeah, see, Johnny's going to try it. Everybody's gonna be like, hey, look what I got after about spring.
Should have put a
I'm gonna get a
disclaimer
bunch of.
People are gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead.
After that comment, by the way.
Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Okay, 2 questions and we'll wrap it up, and I'll just let you guys, and then, well, actually 2 questions, then I got the overall final thoughts that I have a lot to say on. But why does Chef let Margot go, and why do you think all the cooks just went along with the plan? I'll let you guys wrap up both of those questions, and I'll let you go in order. So, Tracy, if you wanted to go ahead and answer both of those questions, you can.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things about the restaurant industry in general is there's a kindredship and there's a respect for other people in the industry, and even to the point of I go to a bar and I'm even just talking to the bartender that I'm in that industry, like I will most likely get a free drink or something. And I'm not saying that to like expect something for free, but like that's kind of what we do. Like I do that the same to anyone I know that comes in, like, oh, this one's on the house. We kind of look out for each other. Anytime I go out to eat, which I don't think I should have to do this, but a lot of times I'll let the server know that I'm also a server, just to like let them know, like, don't worry, like we're gonna be a cool table, you know. And I think there is still that Margot probably also reminds him of the people he used to work with back when he was happy. It's a different type of server. It's a different type of, restaurant within the industry, a little bit more fun. And I think he kind of related to that with her. So,
yeah. Caprice?
I'm just going to repeat what I said before. She gave him something that he hadn't had in God knows how long. She gave him that little bit of fire right before his last hurrah. So I feel like it was an exchange of power moment. Like, you gave me this, so I'm going to give you life. I'm going to give you another chance. As far as the other chefs go, Tracy was saying, there's, it's a tight knit thing being in a kitchen. That's your chef. You go to chef for everything. Chef is the first and final word in everything. But in this instance, it was more of like, a cult like thing. So why does anybody in a cult do what they do? You're really never gonna know the full answer to that unless you're in a cult. But in this particular instance, I'm sorry, I forgot which one of you had said it earlier, that it was more of an instance where I think every single chef in Hawthorne had a very similar situation to Chef Stoic, and that they just felt like their art and their passion wasn't worth a damn anymore. That everything was just that it was just going to get worse from there. Like, we've pretty much plateaued to where we're at. This isn't even our art anymore. We're doing it for other people. It's not even how we want it to be. Like, we're just gonna have it be, this is gonna be the end for us. This is this is our final hurrah. This is us putting everything out, bare bones. This is everything it was, and we're gonna end it here, and we're gonna take you all with us for taking that away from us. So that's why I feel like he let Margot go, and that's why I feel like the chefs gave in to what Chef Stoic was doing.
Yeah. Fish?
No, that's exactly it. She let him relive, why he got into this in the first place. And like she said, like Caprice said, traded, here, thank you for this, thank you for that. Now here's this. Here's my gift to you. And my gift is your life. My gift is your cheeseburger. And here's the door. Kindly see yourself out, and thank you for coming in. You didn't belong here anyway, so this wasn't meant for you to begin with. So thank you for what you did for me. Here's this for you. Now, like she said, talked about plateauing. The chefs, they probably hit that limit. They're not going to reach any higher pinnacle in their career. And like Tracy said, it is a close-knit group, whether it be servers and bartenders, or, I see it, and you see it. If you'll notice in restaurants you go out to eat, you'll see like groups flock together, and they usually are the ones that work most closely together. Like you'll see your servers kind of eat, or your hosts will kind of interact more together, and your kitchen staff as well. So there are those little groups, and they are very close knit because they feel each other's pain. They know what each other's going through.
Yeah.
They deal with the same shit that the other one's dealing with, you know. And so I can see where the brotherhood and the camaraderie, and we're you know, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this together. And everybody, and it seemed like it was always his way, Chef's way. And then in this last instance, this last presentation, he let others take reins and produce product for this. You know, it was a little, this is us saying goodbye kind of thing. So I thought that was really cool.
Gus?
Well, I think Margot played the right card by being able to go into Chef's house where she saw the picture, so she knew how to play her card. Also, like Chef said, like probably halfway through the movie, where he gave her 15 minutes to be on either side, and he knew that she needed to be on his side because he could see that she was not like the other people putting him in a corner. So when she played that card, she played it, his emotions, to remember that happy time where cooking was a joy. Now, as far as the other people going down with the ship, I just think that was the midsummer part of this movie where, like everybody already has said it, it was a cult, and the everybody goes down with the ship and captain.
Yeah.
Mizzy? Yeah, no, I think Margot was very smart. I like what Gus said. I didn't think about that, but him going into his living quarters and seeing that, she put almost like 2 and 2 together and said, wow, this is when he was at his happiest, like just making burgers. And she goes toe to toe with him, and I really like that. And I think that because that's the time he actually, you said, he cracks a smile making that burger for her, and finally dicing the onions and everything, putting the cheese on just right, just making it so perfect, you know. And she just takes a bite and says, "It's good. Can I take it to go?" And lets her go. But like you all said, he said that she wasn't meant to be there. So it was just very interesting.
To touch on what Mizzy said, you can still be delicate and precise and still cook with love and passion. And I think we see that later on. And I'm just thinking about that off of what Mizzy said with the onions, because we get a close up of the onions and the way he puts them on.
Right. Just sprinkles them on real nice.
And he's doing it the same way, precise, delicate, but he's now doing it with passion and love. So you can find that balance between both, do something with desire, passion, love, delicacy, and still have that love behind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is also the first time in the movie where we see him making something.
Him cooking something, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, all the other times, giving the order,
right,
tasting, that's it. He's not actually doing it hands-on himself. This is the first time you see that.
Yeah. So I just kind of piggybacked on what Mizzy said. Let me catch up with the chat, and then I got the final question. I don't want to keep everyone here too long. I appreciate everybody thank you for your time hanging out. We got Mel saying the bear is amazing, loved it. Benicio says, hey, Sue. Jim says hot marshmallows on the skin, that's 3rd-degree burns. Walter says the bear might be
it is.
What about cocaine bear? Tiana says, haha, Bob, I am not doing that. Movies and Sue says, Mel, you know it, Walter. I got to put the bear on my list. Sue says, the bear is the most realistic restaurant show I have ever seen. That's exactly how it is in the kitchen. We got My Killer Podcast saying, there's my lost girl. Hey, pretty lady. Hot marshmallows is not a good feeling at all. I've enjoyed Boiling Point too. Too kind Mel, miss you and the other Lost Girls. Yeah, when's the next Lost Girls show? Jim says, yes, Gus. Second Sight releases fire. Tiana, it's on Hulu. Oh, cool. I'll have to watch. I think we're all in cults here. Holland says yes,
I
Chef.
don't know it.
We love you, Chef. Yes, Chef Tiana.
Yeah, sure.
Smizzy says, well, I hope not.
Oh, being a cult.
Chef let Margot go because she wasn't even supposed to be there, and two, she was able to pull in his emotional sensitivities when she ordered that cheeseburger because it reminded him of his old self.
Mhm.
He made a nice to-go bag for everyone before he set them up.
Right.
Yeah, right. Some people don't believe that. Like, she made some, I guess theories out there like say that the burger could have been poisoned, that he wasn't really going to let her go. Things
That would
like
be interesting. Yeah.
because earlier in the movie, she talks about if the if the meat's too long,
Oh yeah, an extra day.
You'll die on the spot or something.
Right, extra day or two. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
That was funny, Johnny.
Johnny Dan Brett can do a lot for a person. No, but he describes the menu of the courses, and some homemade granola they stole from the French laundry. And she wipes her mouth later on at the very end of the movie with the menu.
Yeah.
He smashed the burgers, Johnny. I want that to-go bag, Jimbo. It was a double patty. I want homemade granola.
Thank you guys.
Lizzie,
Homemade
come to the
granola.
We have movies.
I love my movies, but I don't, I guess I'm in the cult of movies.
He's the only one that doesn't want to be in the cult. Okay.
With whoever has homemade honey.
Oh, okay.
I have some.
Oh, you have some.
Caprice can make us some
I do.
granola.
And Tracy,
I will give you some honey.
Tracy, I know you like to cook too. You were telling me, right? You're a big
I
fan.
do, yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, it also just helps to live in New York. You have to be a little, money smart. So I think cooking at home helps a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Sure.
I hear you. All right. Last question. I'll let Tracy go, and then I'll kind of finish it out here, and I'll catch up on the chat and everything like that. I cannot wait for this question because I've been dying to talk about everything. But overall rating and what the movie as a whole meant to you. And I know we've kind of discussed that in the last 2 hours, 15 minutes, but just a closing thought.
Yeah. And one quick thing, someone in the chat did mention the film Boiling Point. I want to see that so badly. And it came out like in the end of the pandemic, and it looks phenomenal.
Mhm.
So if you guys haven't seen the trailer for it, like check it out. Because I was waiting for it to come out in theaters, and then it never really did. So that was great. I forget who said it, but thank you for mentioning that.
I think it was Gus.
I'll go find it. It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on streaming. Actually,
I don't know.
Hard Copy Blues recommended it to me, and it's I can't remember what streaming service it's on, but I watched it, and wow, it's such a good movie.
I have the
awesome.
second sight release of it.
Yeah,
so
it's on second sight if you have a region-free.
so
player.
I definitely have to watch it. Boiling Point, I would recommend. Mika says, and Jim says, Gus, I sent Gus, I get my honey from Catskills. I will send you homemade granola.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Is Jim a big cook?
Sounds like it.
I think Jim said that
Jim-
he was a
Jim
chef.
said-
Oh, he did
He
say
was
he was a
chef.
chef.
He's a
That's right.
chef?
Yeah, he did say
Oh,
that.
he should have been on this stream. Jeez. I didn't know that. What are you doing, Jim? You gotta email me or message me and be like, "Yo, what are you doing? I'm a chef." Oh my goodness, he would have been perfect to be on here. I try to with these streams, and sorry to go off topic here. I really do try to like personalize it, and find people who are the right fit for. Because I could just have everybody. I love having them on a panel, but I really try to have people who are passionate about the movie, who have a lot to say, and who are good fits. And I thought Gus being a cook and Fish working in a service industry, restaurant and things like that, so hopefully that made sense. But Boiling Point is A++. This stream was the tits. These knees. Chef Jim, thank you so much, guys. Sorry about that, Tracy. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I really, really enjoyed it. I've been loving I really enjoy the show White Lotus a lot, and this felt very similar. If you guys also, that's a great show on HBO too, by the way.
Yeah,
but don't
it's a great show.
like start from season 1 and then go to season 2. It's got that commentary on the top 1%. It's not even a commentary about rich people, but that's kind of a theme these days, and we've seen it multiple times. maybe it's getting old to a certain point with Triangle of Sadness and everything, but I think it's fun to poke at. I think every decade, every generation kind of has their own comedic satires or films that are relevant regarding that issue. I loved it. I think it's great to, people aren't necessarily the most informed when it comes to the restaurant industry and the way it works and how people are staffed and, tipping and things like that. And, I'm just happy to see it again in a serious film and in a horror film. I think it's great. I like little two things I just wanted to say. One of the actors in this film, he plays one of the Asian men at that table, and he's in an amazing movie called Drive My Car, which I believe was nominated for best screenplay a couple years ago. It's a Japanese film. So good. There's also another film, if you guys like the movie Waiting, that I just saw for the first time like last year, called Slammin' Salmon, and it's the guys from Super Troopers, and it's hilarious.
Oh, I like those
It's
guys.
so funny. So please check that out if possible. And then my final thoughts, my final sentence really is that it's really a shame that Anthony Bourdain didn't get to see this movie, because I would have loved to see his review. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian says, "What's a tip? I don't get those." Mika says, "Yes to Drive My Car." White Lotus is the perfect satire of rich people. It never gets old making fun of rich assholes. Broken Lizard, Slammin' Salmon. Yeah, I gotta watch that one. I have heard of it. I don't tip because
I didn't even know that one.
I have to. He better be. Holland smack that.
He came in the wrong chat then.
Yeah. Bourdain. Yeah, he better be kidding. I'll smack him. I love Slammin' Salmon. Tracy, Johnny, yes. Slammin' Salmon is awesome.
We need to go find Holland.
It's awesome. It's like broken. The chat's blown up here.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's
Holland.
quoting Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. All right.
I was about to say that's a very Mr. Pink comment of you to say, Holland.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I adore this movie. I love everything about it. The characters, the cinematography, the message that it gives. For me, this movie means living in the moment, getting off of your phone. Don't overly criticize things that you don't know anything about. Accept things for what they are, and mostly just, like I said before, being in the moment and not worrying about anything else at the time. It really, to me, is appreciate things more, be in the moment, have fun with loved ones. Don't overthink things. Don't be yes men. Don't do things because other people want you to do them. Do what you want and be passionate about it, and don't lose that passion regardless of what anybody says. When I recommend this movie to people, I always tell them kind of go in with a non-expectation. I think everybody who watches this movie needs to go in and have a completely open head about it. It's not your stereotypical horror movie. This is something completely different. In my own humble opinion, I wouldn't even categorize it as a horror film. I would categorize this as a thriller. But this movie was incredibly done, and I think that with cancel culture and everybody being their own type of critic, that it was released at a really good time. But the message that I take from it is definitely living in the moment, and don't try to live up to others' expectations of what you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
nice.
Fish.
I gotta follow that. Yes, everything she said, definitely. I know I adored this movie too. I really did. I really enjoyed this. When I saw the trailer, like I said earlier, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be, like I said, Hunger Games meets Top Chef, where they're going to be hunting down the clientele. I mean, they didn't hunt them well. I mean, they kind of did, but I really really enjoyed this movie a lot. It touched on a lot of things that we all talked about tonight. Being appreciative of the service and even life. Um, um, knowing what you're capable of, and appreciating the fact that you have a passion for something. I don't even know what I'm trying to say now. Anyways, like I said, we've all touched on it. We've all talked about, slowing down, smelling the roses, taking a look around, and enjoying things. Not getting too much into what other people think and what other people say, and still being true to yourself. Basically, yeah, being true to yourself. Love what you do and do what you love. So yeah, that's what I do. It's what I try to do every day. Doing what I love and loving what I do. So yeah, I enjoyed all aspects of this movie. Like you said, I think of it as more of a thriller too. It subtly builds, each course builds to the next one, and it leads to the ultimate finale there. So it's not much of a horror as much of a thriller. Yeah. So I totally agree with that aspect of it too. So yeah, but I completely adored this movie. We'll watch it over and over again. I'm sure I'll find all kinds of other things to pinpoint and pick out and see, and other things that I didn't notice before. So yeah, but like I said, wonderful, wonderful movie. Yeah.
Gus.
What I enjoyed about this movie was the to not follow the crowd. You shouldn't go to a restaurant just because everybody's raving about it and just to be seen or whatever. You go because you actually want to go, and maybe the food is good and it intrigues you. Also, be kind. Just it doesn't mean that you can't complain or voice your concern. Is what I mean. If the food is not good, just do it in a nice way, not, well, I could do this better. Can you? Really? Can you? I went into this movie expecting something else. I didn't watch the trailer or anything. Just by the cover, I was like, oh, this is probably a cooking show, a cooking movie with two critics, because that's what the cover looks like. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, this is kind of cool. They go to an island, they're growing their own, food. I can't wait. And then I thought it was pretty ingenious how each menu dish was tied to what was happening. The bullshit, the mess. I definitely would recommend this movie to anybody. So I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I hope we get a 4K.
Yeah.
And that's I end my comment.
Flip cover.
Yeah. Izzy?
Yeah, I like I said, I was surprised when I initially saw this. I'm glad the trailers didn't give a lot away, because it made you did think like, oh yeah, we're hunting down people or cooking them up and eating them or something. So it was quite surprised. Yeah, it's like that's what it seemed like. I really enjoyed it. I've seen it a couple of times already. Yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone who likes thrillers. I agree, it's more thrillers, not like because when you say horror, you think of, I don't know, stabbing, killing, and all this shit. But it's a little different. But I liked it a lot. I thought great performances all around. Great script, great direction, great cinematography. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, there's a lot of takeaways. Everything that you guys touched on the head. Some people said some stuff that I didn't even necessarily think about. But a couple things that I kind of took away leaving from the theater from my first time was passion and desire, a lack of that. and feeling that in my own career at times, and wanting to get away from that and find that passion and desire back, because I'm at my best and my happiest when I have that. And I'm showing up to the gym and I'm excited to be there, and I can't wait to put together a workout for a client. And that's when I feel like I'm at my best, and my clients know that. And so the criticizing, we talked about that. I think there's a way to come from a place of love when you criticize or critique somebody. And I think depending on how you say it and where you come from makes a difference. And I ask friends for constructive criticism. I've had people give me constructive criticism, and I'm grateful for it. If you're somebody I trust and I'm close to, I want you to give me constructive criticism. I want you to be able to call me out. And I think it's important to have that. But on the flip side, it's also very important for people to know words can hurt, and you can also destroy people with your, if you have the power. And, you could talk about passion and desire on YouTube as well, creating content. All of you guys are content creators, and I think there's plenty of people that feel like they're going through the motions and they just put out content to put it out. But are they doing it with passion? Do they love it, or are they just doing it because they feel like I just need to put something out? I've been there, and that's why I'm not putting out pre-recorded content, because I don't feel passion and desire there right now. I have desire and passion to do live streams. I love it. I love interacting with all of you. This is one of my favorite things I do on YouTube, is this series in particular, because I love breaking down movies and getting really deep. So always be careful about what you say. Words can hurt. So yeah, just be careful about that stuff and how you criticize somebody, and make sure there's ways to do it coming from a place of love. And just make sure you do that. So everybody out there, because people read your comments, and it's the ones that are passionate and the people that are in the chats supporting and everything. You build us up. You can keep that passion and fire and desire burning, and you can also be the one to fan that flame, so to speak. So, and I'm serious when I say that, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully I went on a tangent there.
No, I think it's important too to be cautious about taking, like, I think it's really healthy to be able to accept criticism and grow from that 100%. But everyone wants to criticize everything, and like, you have to let some of that just go. And it's like you said, like, you ask your close friends or opinions who you that matter to you. That's like the way to go. And otherwise, it'll start crippling you, with what you're creating. So,
yeah, I've come to almost every single one of you. I've done it with Ken after a stream before, and I've done it with Fish and Mizzy. And I'm like, hey, look, I want to grow. I want people to have a good time. You want people to tune in and enjoy it. So I'll ask my close friends, what can I do differently to make my streams better? What can I do to grow as a host? Because I do have a passion and desire to create good content and have fun in live streams. And you want your panel to have a good time, and you want your guests to have a good time. So I will ask people, what can I do to grow? And I think that's really the goal. And look, at the end of the day, if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, then I'm going to stop. And if people aren't having fun, then there's no point in me doing it either, if that makes sense, because you want people to have a good time. Everybody to have a good time, be comfortable. So yeah. But yeah, I love these series that I'm doing. Like, everything I do on live streams has an intentions and purpose. So yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for hanging around. It's been over 2.5 hours. This is the longest what it means to us discussion. We got really deep. So I really do appreciate all of you. I'm going to try and catch up on the chat really quick, because I don't know how many I have here, but thank you, Chef Jim. Jim says facts. Holland. Adam says all Broken Lizard's crew work is great. Planet Mondo says it felt like an Ari Aster movie quite a bit. Yep. This chat is electric. It is very active, and I do appreciate that. And sometimes people just say, hey, let the chat do their own thing, Yes, Caprice, preach. Menu is drama, thriller, not horror. Amen, Caprice. Jim says horror has political undertones, if you will. Yeah. Be kind to your waitress and people who prepare your food. Absolutely. Laugh aloud, Gus. I thought the same thing. Sydney's been getting deep tonight. We got Ralph Nicholas and Anna were all brilliant. Janet McTeer as a food critic was also very good. The script was well written. The dark humor, satire, thought-provoking lines made it enjoyable to watch. Absolutely. Everything Sydney said tonight, I agree with as well. Tiana says I'm still waiting out for that 4K Blu-ray. Hey, Bob, did you get that Barney limited edition steelbook? Oh, Jesus. On that. Jim Powers, Burnt with Bradley Cooper is a good one. Really tackles the Michelin star atmosphere and the pressures that come with it. Laren says people make money in different ways, but it isn't necessary when you're where your passions lie. YouTube is a great outlet for expressing that side of yourself. Absolutely. What's Johnny watching says, yeah, Tiana, that's why I haven't picked it up yet. Tiana, oh, Jim, that's a good movie. Jim, I heard Burnt was good. I want to check that out. Chef is another great food movie about a father with a food truck. We
It's so
talked about that
good.
earlier.
It's
I'm
so
glad
good. It's on Netflix right now if you haven't seen it.
Everyone a good night. See you, Laren. I have to rewatch that Chef movie. Want to give it another chance. Chef is really good. Laren, you're the best. Mika says, great conversation tonight and great panel. Loved hearing all of your thoughts and analysis on the film. Thank you, Mika. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your comments as well. I have to see the Bears. Chef Burnt. Yes, Holland. Yes, Holland, watch them all instead of watch every stream ever. Holland food movie marathon soon. We love Bob's live streams. Thank you so much, Deanna. Bob, are you a personal trainer? I need to schedule some swim session. Yep. And do you still do it at all or no? Like on the side, I know you talked about being a trainer. Is that kind of gone now?
Me? Yeah, no, I stopped doing that. I really just don't have the time, and I would have to get recertified in a bunch of things again to start that up. Because I was teaching like cardio kickboxing and stuff, and this was like 8 to 10 years ago. But I still live fitness and but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim says Bob's streams are great. Thank you, Jim. It really does mean a lot. I appreciate that a lot. He is Jim. All of those are amazing, Holland. Bob's Jerry Springer final thoughts. That's Preach Now, Laugh Out Loud Brian. The Bobby Bluer show. Yeah, I saw way back. I saw you recommended the Bear way back last in your Discord. Bob's tangents are informative and acceptable, like the end of the G.I. Joe cartoon. He's got a Discord. I love your live streams, Bob. Thank you so much, Mama Blu-ray. It really does mean a lot. I do appreciate that. Honestly, because the comments, Fish and I have talked about that. It's so awesome reading comments, but when you get some negative ones, unfortunately, those stick with you, Be real, choose to be happy. Don't be afraid of expressing yourself. Be humble, not entitled. Everyone carries their own cross. Your garbage may be someone else's treasure. Appreciate people, don't judge. Amen. Amen. Good fun stream, KB says. We've got My Killer Podcast laughing emojis. Hi, KB. We love you, Bob. Yeah, you make streams fun. Thank you so much. Jim says, Bob, we all have fun. It's like Studio 54 in here.
Without the cocaine.
Bonnie, what's up, KB? KB in the house. KB is the jam. Great stream, everyone. KB was with the Rad Pack this weekend, breaking necks and cashing checks. He's tall. Very tall.
Yes.
He's very tall compared to everybody else.
Bob is like the He-Man and She-Ra cartoon with the story. All right, I caught up there. So I'm sorry to run through the chat. I never like to miss anybody because obviously Tim and I have talked about it. If you're not going to make it fun for the chat, what's the point of even going live then? Because then you could just do it pre-recorded. So you definitely want to get them involved. We got Vinicio saying, next episode, what it meant to you, Cannibal Holocaust. So the funny thing is, Vinicio,
there you go.
Y'all are laughing. I have
Cannibal. No, I know you're talking about that.
Yeah. Mizzy already knows. I have Cannibal Holocaust planned. Yeah. And I have quite a few people very interested in that because I think it's a very misunderstood movie. So
I'm like, hello.
We'll get Cannibal Holocaust. Nice. Benicio. Oh, geez. Laugh a lot, Benicio. Missed the stream, but it looks like a great panel. Thanks. No bad movie. Cannibal Holocaust, best found footage. Me and KB would tower over laugh out loud. And for that super chat, and let's play a little fun.
Yay, orgies!
So I just love Tim. Thank you for that. Your unending amounts of content. 6'9" Mel. Is that a movie where people eat people? It is. It's misunderstood though. It's an important film in my opinion. But thank you everyone that tuned in tonight. I'll let you kind of go ahead and we got another live stream tomorrow. Unfortunately, Gus won't be on there because we have 10 people already. Gus, I will make sure to get you on the next one. I love streaming with you.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I know. But Gus, he's but definitely in the future. It's one of those things. Me and Tim talked about it too. Like, for a stream like this, 6 people, so many. I would never do more than that because it gets really clogged. We already went 2 hours 40 minutes. So, Benicio says justice for Gus.
Thanks for That's right.
So yeah, but then there's panels that are great for 10 people, and it just depends. But unfortunately, you can only have 9 guests, so it makes it tough sometimes because we all love so many people here. But I'm gonna go ahead and highlight everyone and let you kind of tell everybody what you're all about and where to find you on your channel and things like that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nerdy Film Girl at Nerdy Film Girl on both Instagram and YouTube. And just a bunch of movie reviews, revisiting other older films for sure, newer reviews, some live streams here and there. I have planned for next year even more Oscar season content because that is one of my favorite times of the year. So you can follow me on all of those.
Awesome stuff. Caprice, how about you? What's going on over there? You just started up a channel.
Hello, my darlings. So tomorrow I'll actually be with Bob on the Remembering Robin Williams stream. That'll be amazing. If you want to drop by and say hi, I'll be looking for you guys in the chat. I also have some other things coming up that I haven't announced yet with some awesome content creators on here. And so, yeah, it's all going to be over on my YouTube, which is Draculina Horror, which is also my Instagram handle as well. So if you want to drop by and say hi, go ahead and hit those like buttons and go and subscribe and come and say hello.
Awesome. Don't anybody start a hashtag justice for Gus. And all we're going to regret it because I'm going to have Gus on every one of my lives. This is going to be Gus, you better get used to it.
Let's break the internet, people.
That's right.
Justice for Gus.
Ish, what's going on with you?
All right. I Fish the Film Collector here. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Fish_the Film Collector. Right now I'm doing hunting videos, hauls. I have a couple reviews. I actually wanted to start a new series talking about some older movies, kind of like forgotten gems that I grew up with. So be on the lookout for that. I have probably an episode dropping this week. So please join me. Take this little journey with me on some forgotten gems. Bob, thank you very much for having me. I had a wonderful time. This panel was fantastic, very insightful. Gave me some things to think about when rewatching this movie. So once again, thank you very much. I had a wonderful time.
I'm never gonna let this.
I just noticed that it says the main course fish. That's adorable.
Bob,
Justice
for Gus. He loves Robin Williams. Oh yeah, Jim, he's not a real dad. All right, Gus, go ahead and.
I don't have a YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram. It's Food, Movies, and More. And make sure you hashtag Bob at Justice for
Oh jeez. Keep you posted. Mizzy, real back in here.
Well, thank you for having me on, Bob. Appreciate it. I will also be on tomorrow's Robin Williams stream, so I'm excited for that. You can find me on Instagram, Mizzy9384. I appreciate everybody, and I love the menu. Great movie.
Nice. Yes, it was a good one. And like I said, thank you everybody that was in the chat. Let Gus volunteer his tribute. Emojis to be 20 daisies over daisies. Mizzy, Fish, you are as cool as the other side of the pillow. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Awesome stream, everyone. So thank you, everyone. Honestly, that's in the chat. It's the people. I say it all the time. It's not like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's true. I mean, I'm sure most people would agree. It's the people in the chat, in the panel that make these things possible and and fuel our passion as hosts, to be able to do these things. So it's a lot of fun. And the people that show up and watch in the chat and the panel appreciate it because, you're just hanging out. You're just along for the ride. So I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. And I can't wait for tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. It's a big panel. So,
I'm so excited.
wait for tomorrow. But everyone, have a great night. Thank you so much to everybody that was in the chat. And we'll catch you tomorrow night. Have a good one.
Bye.